Right, okay. There we go. In podcast 3, 2, 1, live. First podcast.
In a long time, right? When was the last time you did this?
6 months.
Okay.
Right?
It's been a while, right?
So this podcast is with Nico. So
Okay.
as a matter of fact, I told you before, I made some notes, but I put it on the phone so I can't access it now.
It's better to do it, impromptu.
Yeah.
That's it. Have good discussions.
I'll have a beer first.
Go with
Just
beers first.
right, cheers.
Cheers for that. Good to start this journey with you, right? Or restart it.
Okay, first. I mean, Nico, we know each other since, probably a couple of years ago when you started CrossFit. But what I want to know is know more about, let's say, for you now. I know Nico is very good at CrossFit, always beating me up in everything that I can. But so you tell us more about what bring you to Singapore, your family. I don't know, things that you want to talk about. What are you good at it? I know that you're always talking about this entrepreneurship stuff. So what are you doing? Because I'm also I get very curious, you're getting the help from John as well.
Yeah.
So all these things, what is Nico doing, so much? And, he always feels so positive and stuff. There's, I need to learn something. He knows something that I don't know. So this is about you talking more than me. I usually the one who talks a lot, but I want you to talk.
All right. So thank you very much for letting me be here, Fernando. It's a great honor, obviously, and let's try to have a conversation. It's always good to have two sides to the story as well. It's great that we restarted this your podcast as well. Basically, I call myself a fitness and finance geek. That's the tagline that I've attached to myself. Changes over the years, but at least for the past couple of years, that's been how I live my life. What brought me to Singapore at the first place was work. Like for all of us expats, at least, it is the multinational corporations offering you opportunities.
Like me.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. So 8.5 years ago, me and my wife moved over to Singapore. We'd already lived in Berlin before that, in Germany for some time. And I was a part of the Rolls-Royce's graduate leadership schemes at that stage, and the opportunity opened up for us to actually come over here.
From Berlin to here.
Berlin to Singapore. And it's one of these things that me and my wife...
They say Berlin is amazing.
It is.
My ex-girlfriend, she used to live there. She speaks German, so for her it's easier, but...
Yeah.
I heard that everything's new there, so that's why it's so cool, or...
No, well...
What is such a nice thing about them?
Let me put it this way. I mean, Berlin... I just remember the awesome parties that we had. The nightlife in Berlin is probably one of the best ones I've ever experienced. All the opportunities.
It's very open society as well, right?
Very open-minded, for sure. And even though in Germany you have it is a great country to live in. You have very different sides to it. I think Berlin is one of the more open-minded places in Germany you can go to. And you still see, one of the most fascinating sides of Berlin is that you can still see the division of the two Germanys.
Oh, no way.
Even 30 years after the fall of the wall. It's crazy. You go to West Berlin or East Berlin, it is completely different, right? So you can see the high class society and then a bit more expensive type buildings.
But they get along, or it's just like...
Yeah, they do.
It's just like a East Coast, West Coast, like in US
it's
gangster stuff, no?
I guess it's more on the architecture side and the vibes. So the pubs and everything on the East Berlin side are a bit more underground. Like they have this more rustic feel to it. Everything's really cheap. Beers and food and everything.
Beer.
And you have the art scene. It's very artistic as well. So it's brilliant. We definitely loved our time in Berlin. Sure. It is my favorite, second favorite city.
But and for how many years there?
6 months. So
6 months. Yeah,
that was the first placement.
Fast, yeah. So from Finland, right, to Berlin?
Yeah, right. So I've lived across the years. I've lived in the UK, in the US. I'm originally from Finland, and then Germany and Singapore. So I've try to make the most out of travel and experience a lot of things.
So Finland, when you talk with someone from Finland, is still, you can still call them Vikings, right? Or
Nope.
that's more the other other side.
The Viking concept is originally Norwegian.
Yeah, because sometimes they say like, oh, the guy from Finland, those are Vikings. And I'm like, hey, I don't know about that. I mean, I know my geography, but I don't know Vikings, how they spread so much. But
I'd call if you want to call your nation with some type of warrior names, it would be more barbarian than Viking. Vikings are from Norway.
Yeah, that's Denmark as well, right? Yeah.
Correct.
All that area around.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that history too.
I mean, I know that it's around this area because I have some friends from Denmark.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do talk about Viking stuff, and of course Norway. But then the guy talk about Finland or even they go Iceland, and I'm like, oh, I don't know Iceland either. But
So that's what
because it's all the north, right? Going.
Yeah, correct. So that's an interesting bit about Iceland is the fact that they thrive their history from the Viking blood. Vikings were originally not from Iceland, but they traveled across and then took the culture and everything to Iceland.
They do the raids in summer.
Yeah. And there was a brilliant Netflix documentary on the Icelandic strongman culture, because there's a lot of the world's strongest men are actually from Iceland. So they dive deep into that culture and why is it so that a nation of 300,000 people produce so many of the world's top strength athletes. It's an interesting story, and they thrive a lot from that Viking warrior spirit for sure.
So then Berlin, but before that, you were in the US for a while.
Yeah, so when I turned 20, I went to the US to play ice hockey there for a year.
Oh wow!
So
you were doing like really pro style.
So that was my goal. My goal in life up until I was 21 years old was to play professional ice hockey in the National Hockey League in the US. Never made it there. Did my best. Had a good time.
Sadly,
well, things happen for a reason. I don't regret anything. I'd say it's great to be here where I am right now. So. But yeah, US was a great experience. It was the first time I ever lived abroad, it was cool, and that actually taught me that I want to spend my life abroad. So when I grew a bit older, then it was quite natural for me to actually move.
So after that experience in the US, you said, okay, I just want to go around the world.
Yeah.
I had similar stuff. Yeah.
You have the same story, right?
I mean, not same, but I mean also one of my first experience went when I moved to US, and then after went back to Costa Rica, I was like, I mean, Costa Rica is a very nice place, my family, whatever you want, but I was like, I think this is not what life is about. I think there's more things outside. So I was just, since I joined Emerson, because before I was with
How long have you been with Emerson now?
10 years. So when I joined with Emerson, I was like, because huge corporation, I was like, since I joined, I said, okay, whatever you guys need, whatever in the place in the world, I'm just
open to.
I mean, so that's how it started. But it started like before that. I was not traveling outside Costa Rica, but I moved from the city that is San Jose. It's like a very nice place around in my mountains. You never been in Costa Rica?
No. I need to get myself there.
So it's almost same equator line like Singapore, but because the city center, the capital is it's called a valley. It's surrounded by mountains. We're like 1,000 something. So it's a nice weather. But if you go to the coast, it's same as here.
Yeah.
Right? But around 25, I just got an opportunity to work to the coast, and then you start experiencing being independent and stuff. Even if it's 3 hours away, was my mom, right? But from that moment, it's like, I need to be like an explorer, you know. And then I was watching too many Lord of the Rings and stuff. It's like, you need adventures, you know. Like you don't get anything, you don't learn anything, just staying there.
So beautiful.
Right?
Life is an adventure.
So that's what I thought. Like when I get my first assignment with Emerson to go Madrid. It's just Madrid, it's a big city, what's going to happen? But I was like, oh man, this is my first adventure. Then I moved to US, and so every time that I move, it's okay. It's like, you watch Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
You watch the movies? Are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, they're good movies for sure, yeah.
So that's why, I like to compare myself to, this is probably like Bilbo was feeling. You know, I know that it's childish, but I mean,
nothing childish.
It's kind of my feeling. That's why I start doing it. So that's why I can have the same feeling as you when you start saying like, oh yeah, like this thing of traveling around. I mean, I don't know if it's going to make me grow, but I knew that was going to bring me something. Right? Someone is calling me. I don't know who is it. Well, let's just cancel.
Are we still live?
No, with this. But it's okay, we can just keep talking. Let's just...
right.
One, live. Let's take this.
Just answer that.
Hello? Hey, hello. Tell me, Dilip, how you doing? Yes? Yeah, tell me. Yes, sure. Mm-hmm. Stay in one place, or like at least not stay in Costa Rica. So that was my idea. And Madrid was pretty cool. I mean, it was not my first time. I was before. I went and visit some friends.
Yeah.
I remember when. Oh, I went for a karate tournament.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cause
that was very fun. That was very fun. But then I just went for work. So, and then I had a wedding with one of my friends in France. So it was a very fun trip. And then I went back. It was just 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, sure.
It was very fast. So we were about your story about Berlin and stuff, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it just reflects a lot in terms of what you said as well. It's all. I mean, to guys like or people like me and you, right? So one of the essence of life is to learn and explore what's out there and learn new ways to contribute and to give back as well. The work obviously gives a good platform to do that when you work in a multinational like Emerson, or for me it's Rolls-Royce, or it's been Rolls-Royce, now called different names as Kongsberg bought the marine.
That's a German company or?
A Norwegian company.
Oh,
so
Norwegian.
That's where the Vikings come
company.
from. Yeah. So, but anyway, so it is the same story, right? So Berlin, because me and my wife already when we've met like 2006, we started talking, okay, where do we want to live? Or where would you, this discussion, where would you actually like to live? And the sort of odd proposal was that Singapore.
Could you choose?
Well, because both of us said that it would be nice to live in Singapore. No reason, because neither of us had ever been to Asia before. And then, whilst we were living in Berlin, we were thinking about, okay, so shall we go to Singapore next? That would be great. Can we go there? So I then picked up the phone and called the one of the top guys of the graduate scheme and asked that, okay, so do we have any opportunities in Singapore?
Well, you were already with Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, correct. But within the grad scheme, what happens is that you have like 3 6-month placements across the world. So I finished the Berlin 6-month placement. The next one, then I was searching for opportunities, and then it came out that Singapore was an opportunity. So that's when we decided, okay, we'll come over here. And it should have been for 6 months only, and here we are 8.5 years later.
8 years?
8.5 years,
Oh,
yeah.
so much. I thought it was...
Just over 8 years.
I thought it was less, like, I don't know, 4 or something. 8 years.
Yeah.
So for you, 8 years, Singapore was a completely different world that is now, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of different infrastructure and...
Quite a lot. Of course, I mean, you can't... when you live in the city, you can't really notice the change that much. Mm-hmm. If you think
you
and look at some of the pictures, yes, things have changed, definitely.
Because when you move here... Marina Bay Sands was being built, or it was already done?
It was already done. So it was probably done about a year before we came. Mm-hmm. So then when we got here, right, the sort of ethics and how Singapore works as a society was so appealing to me and my wife, both of us, that we decided, okay, we need to stay longer here. So I asked for all types of extensions, leading
8 years now.
Yeah. Leading all the way up until the point that they said, okay, so if you want to stay, you need to take a local contract. Yeah, so that's what happened. So you have similar stories as well?
Or? Mine's, I just wanted to stay longer in the
How long have you been here now?
Just 3 and something years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's enough for a lot of expats. After 2 years, it's over, right? They just go somewhere else or go back.
Because the contract ends and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
But for me, like they knew that I wanted to stay here because I like the country, same as you, like how the country works and how the government manage the place. You know, nevertheless, some Singaporeans are not okay, but I think it's because they haven't seen other places as well, right?
So this is a great point. It's a good point of discussion as well. The grass is never greener on the other side.
Exactly.
So how I see this is why Singapore is
so the grass is it's greener on the other side.
Yeah,
Right?
so
exactly.
So why Singapore is such a great place for me, at least, and I'm sure a lot of other people as well, is because of the fact that in order for you to be able to contribute to society, live here, you need to work really hard and do your part, right? You need to, act lawfully. You need to. I mean, the society cannot have any free flyers or free riders on board it, as opposed to what the problems you have. For example, in Scandinavia, where I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my home country and Europe and everything else, but the sort of the sides which do not appeal to me is the fact that people who want to work hard then pay for the ones living who do not want to work at all. There is such an opportunity out there, plus security, plus travel opportunities in Singapore.
But you see, so a lot of people see that as something positive, it's good, Scandinavian, they have such a good social.
Which is great, because it's one of these things that there's a place for everyone, right? And it's not right or wrong, because it's just different. It is a different approach to how you build a society. From thinking about how I look at the world, so far Singapore touches the element of how society should be run the most within how I see how the world should be working.
Yeah, I think similar.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, even Singapore is not without challenges and problems and all that. Income gaps and all that sort of those sorts of issues. They're surely there, but it's if you think of it from a broader perspective, Singapore is one of the great success stories of the 20th century in terms of nation buildings, for sure.
It is another funny. I say funny because on the other side of the world, I mean, from American continent, I'm going to say America means U.S. and Costa Rica and Brazil, everything. People don't see Singapore. They are like, they say China or some people know, Singapore,
it's a part of China.
Someone they really know, Singapore is an island there. I know that is very good, but people don't really put too much attention on it. Even the news from China or from Indonesia don't get, many of the news don't get there, it's interesting. So like, that's what it makes me, of course, every time that you travel, it makes you like, find again that you're just a mini part of society that if you stay on your world and you don't know what is happening on the other side, I mean, you can do it two ways, okay? You can ignore it, you can live happy.
Absolutely.
Or you can just know that there's something and then you want to know about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's all about exploring.
That's interesting, like how in the other side of the world, like people don't see the things happening, and like when you don't know what you're like. I like to learn stuff, so you don't know what you're losing or probably missing. Like all the things that are happening there is amazing. Like even in Thailand, Thailand is a very high tech hub now. That people don't know or people don't pay attention, but there are really a lot of things happening there, but the people don't know it. And people from Costa Rica, they think, Thailand, just go to the beach. But if you go to Bangkok and stuff, you really see a lot of high tech things and the buildings. Right? So that's why we're here. So, but something interesting that I always see, like how. So now that you tell me, how do you jump from being you wanted to be hockey player to just being, because you like one of these big dogs in finance in your company, right? So how this thing happened, like I wanted to be a karate fighter and I'm just an engineer now, I mean, not just, but I'm not into this, like I didn't have the same path. Of course, you choose your path,
absolutely.
Yeah. But how this thing goes, like, because you're a very sports guy, you see, but then you're managing all this finance stuff? Like how does he get there?
It's a great question. I think I've always been very competitive, even from when being a kid. I wanted to get the best grades in school. You wanted to be the best in sports and everything else as well. And probably which carries through to the CrossFit element of today. It is something that the competitiveness is inbuilt in me. I'm not going to deny that. It is an inherent part of me.
That's why you're kicking everyone's butt in the 2 boxes that I have seen you.
Oh well, but sure, but that can hurt me at times, and that's what made me broke my body a few times quite badly. My shoulders, my quads.
But that's part of being an athlete. So
it is.
Of course, you don't see it the bad way. You see the positive, right?
True. So, putting that into context, I remember me and my buddies in university talking about this. Let's take over the world, so to speak. And I never could really pinpoint my finger to it. What did it actually mean? It just meant go out there to the world and do something. So I was actually reflecting back on this the other day about, in the early 2000s, or first decade of 2000s in Finland, the culture and society was heavily driven by the large multinationals of the time, like Nokia's and
famous
Kone,
Nokia.
and the elevator company, Finnairs and all that. So it was a norm for people to go to university and apply for one multinational company and then have a corporate career, right? Entrepreneurship was still a taboo because of the 90s recession. There was a heavy recession, it was partly global, but it had an especially bad impact in Finland. So entrepreneurship was not in very sort of fashion, if you may. So I did sort of put that social norm into my own life, and then decided that I'm gonna drive my corporate career ambitions to the max. Applied to Rolls-Royce, and then noticed that all the opportunities.
How many years ago do you apply to? I mean, this is how you applied to Rolls-Royce when?
Yeah, so 12, 13 years ago, something like that. And then noticed all the opportunities out there, and really when I got into Rolls-Royce in Finland, then wanted quickly to move abroad and to start building my corporate career in that sense. I remember saying to myself and to everyone who asked, so what is your ultimate goal? So I want to be a CEO of a multinational company. I didn't say what it was, but that was my dream, right? Putting that into context, the first few years in Singapore, I really didn't do anything else but work, right? So there was a time in 2012 when I did 7 weeks of work without having a single day off, including weekends. So it was like this manic obsession to get forwards in the corporate career ladder, right?
Well, at least was something that you choose, right?
Yeah, it was something that I chose.
Because some people say, no, man, no choice.
Yeah.
You're like, no choice?
It's always, and this is an interesting topic, by the way, it is always a choice.
Exactly.
Is when I then got into my current position in 2017, which is the sort of regional financial controller for the business, which is a pretty good position to be in. It's got a lot of responsibilities and all that jazz. Only to notice then that, there's so much more to life than climbing the corporate ladder, right? You want to leave some type of benefit to other people in life. You want to have an impact, you want to contribute, you want to have freedom and all that stuff. So
that's the part of the millennials that we have,
it is.
right?
So that
the
is
millennial stuff.
Yeah, so that's the cultural shift, which I then noticed that truthfully, the dream that I've been chasing for all these years is inbuilt into the society norms of the early 2000s Finland, which was the sort of multinational career type thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm forever grateful of all the experiences I've gone through. It's been an awesome journey, and I'm grateful for Rolls-Royce for granting all these opportunities in Kongsberg and all that. That's driven, but learning that, there's quite a lot more in life, or to life, and just having a great successful
Like a
corporate
final,
career.
like a being a CEO.
Yeah,
That's what
it's building something of your own, following your own heart as well. So that's what then drives me to, find other opportunities of building something of my own. And here we are, in the stage where I'm a co-founder in a startup, in a health tech startup, or health tech startup, you can call it like that. So
yeah, I think I downloaded the app a while ago. Like, I remember you passed me the. It was just a trial, right? When you give it to me, it was not like it was like a beta or something.
yeah. So Healthzilla, the app we are developing. By the way, shameless plug. If you are an iPhone user, do go into the App Store and download Healthzilla now. It's completely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. We have some cool features in the app. So this app is basically something that was developed by a friend of mine who lives in Singapore, and him and his wife run this business as main founders of the business, and it's got this cool AI tech inbuilt into it, AI and smart algorithms.
So it's like it has also the learning
Absolutely.
capabilities.
So machine learning, smart algorithms, artificial intelligence.
And who built this algorithm for you? This friend of yours?
Yeah. So how the whole idea of Healthzilla, which was previously called Mission Ready.
But this Mission Ready is still the same. Now you just changed name, right?
Just a change of names.
But it's the same app.
It's a much different app, but it's still.
Because I think I was still getting like updates. Like you go there and it updates the app, right?
Absolutely. So it started. So my friend, he basically wanted to build an app for him to do workouts, right? Which would adjust according to his own development. When he gets fitter, then the workouts become harder, right? So there wasn't anything in the marketplace at that stage. So he decided, okay, I'll just code it myself. That's how it started. And as my friend is an expert, a truly an expert in the field of, he's a Finn as well.
He just moved here like you almost.
They came here 4 or 5 years ago with his wife, and so basically that's how it started. And then obviously they are a very fit family themselves. So Laura, who runs the business now, who's Aki, who's the sort of the CTO. His wife runs the business. She's a former national champion in gymnastics and
So cool.
coach and all that. So it is like a perfect match to really put up a startup business. I was lucky enough to have an opportunity then to join forces with them 2 years ago to continue building this, because it touches many of my own like passion areas, which is fitness basically, trying to help out people to get fitter in very affordable means as well. Because if you look into the modern day fitness space, right? So there's so much information, so many personal trainers, so many fitness apps, so many blogs, YouTube channels, fitness influencers.
Now Instagram.
And everybody is some type of a fitfluencer, or what may you. And how do you actually say what is correct from these? I mean, is this cookie cutter diet or this certain workout regime, is that going to make me fit? So. And there's a lot of scams, or not scams, but misinformation and non-scientific information out there. So that's something we are aiming to change based on reading your own personal data from your own wearable devices, so biometric and behavioral data from your wearable devices and smartphones, and turning their health over time doesn't happen by eating a magic pill or doing a 30-day this and that workout regime. It is building sustainable, healthy habits, which will
long term, right?
Yeah. So that's what we're aiming. A lot of competition and a lot of noise out there, so it is hard and it takes time for us to grow the business as well. But we are quite certain that we are one of the only ones out there who actually offer the technology, which is the technology of tomorrow, which is basically available right now.
So how there's so many apps, and it's not a very competitive, like hard. It's like when like all this business, when there was no cars, you start building a car, then you have a lot of business. But if now there's so many apps.
There is, and competition is something
Okay, we're back also here. Right. Sorry.
So there's a lot of competition for sure. It just, taking one step at a time on a day-by-day basis to make your voice heard a bit more, and making the app more usable and more sort of entertaining as well at the same time, because to make a product really something that retains the users at the same time as making them healthier, also unfortunately or fortunately requires some great usability and gamification features as well, because that obviously becomes a part of your life if you want to build a longer term habit. So it is challenging, but we are taking good steps towards growing the app, growing the business on a day-to-day basis.
That's cool. You see, and that's what I like about you, because like you have been doing all this, you're in the finance, and then I have heard that with this app, you pass me the app, and you always into this entrepreneurship, it's so hard word now, and you're like always so positive and stuff. And I had also the same. So, man, I want to start doing my own stuff. I want also to contribute. I want to give something back. Like for me, when people say, well, man, we have a good work, your career, so just forget about a career. I mean, I love Emerson, same. I appreciate Emerson, everything that have done for me. Great company.
It gives you a good platform.
It gave me, platform. It showed me a lot of things. But at the end, I mean, let's say if something bad happened, Emerson is not going to be for me there. For this I need family, I need friends, I need stuff. So for me, and when I say it, people find it weird. They say like, for me, work, and don't take it wrong, work is not a priority.
Yeah.
You say for me, okay, I have to go work, I have to wake up early I have to do what I'm paid for. But if my mom is sick, or if I'm sick, or if there's something to be done, work is not a priority. And if my bosses understand it or not, then that will be another issue later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's how I see it. I say work, if I'm too tired and stuff, work is not a priority. I will fulfill what I have to do, but if one day the things go bad, it's a job. If one day I feel bad, I just call my boss. Hey man, I can't go. Some people feel bad. More in Singapore, like in society, like no man, we can't call the boss and say that we feel bad. They have to be there. I said, forget about that shit, man. One day I feel bad, I just feel bad. I call my boss, and when you speak, you see how people react. The boss, oh really? Oh man, Fernando, stay there, take care, call me later. You see? But
that's it. And this is interesting, because if you reflect this back to, and again, don't get me wrong, I love the Japanese culture and all its different colors and variations and history and everything. Especially food, by the way. But one of the weird and sad things about Japanese culture is the fact that in Japan, I can't remember what the number is, but how many people actually die of overworking at their offices. How is that even possible? But the number is like the largest in the world. It's thousands, right? So you work until you die. But just an example of, how misaligned we can be with our real values in terms of why are we here? Are we here on this planet just to work for somebody else for the rest of our lives, contributing to that company, to the shareholders of that business, as much value as we can, with basically paying for it for our lives? The time we spend with our friends and family, which should be the most important thing for everyone, right? So that type of mentality is unfortunately quite prevalent in the modern world still in certain places. Finance banking industry is a great example of that. A few years ago, I read an article about was a German or Swiss summer intern who was working in the city of London in one of the major financial institutions there. He worked 3 days in a row, non-stop.
Like 24-hour days, or
apparently
8 hours shift?
No, like continuously, apparently, if I recall this correctly. And then went back to his flat, went into the shower, collapsed and died. So these types of examples is just that, well,
for a corporation. Really for a job.
and that actually, interestingly, and these are so sad stories. It makes me think that this is not how we were built to live our lives, is it? And then you reflected back to what's going on currently in the millennial generation, which is quite a buzzword. This constant grind and sleepless work more, and so you start your own business, but the same mentality goes there. You work the same ridiculous hours all the time. You constantly grind non-stop. If you want to make it big in the world, and if you want to leave your mark, yes, hard work will always be there. And if you want to make your business big, you have to work ridiculously hard and for a long period of time. At the same time, if you do not take care of yourself and your family and friends, that will be so devastating to you, your health, your mental health, to your social networks, everything, which will eventually somehow, at some level, destroy you.
Yeah, and absorb your business. You'll kill your business as well, probably. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. These are all interconnected.
Yeah, I had, like when I say many times, of course, people, sometimes even my friends will go to do something like client, the thing is done, it's Friday, we finish with every meetings and it's 2:30, and we're in the very west part of Tuas, and our office is next to West Coast Park. So it's done, and it's okay, what now? I'm not the leader, I'm not the boss, but I'm part of the engineering group. Yeah. And they say, what now? Like, it's done, yeah. And like, what now? And then when the guy say, I'm going back to the office, it's like, dude, it's Friday, it's 3 p.m. What are you going to do back to? Do you have things to do? No, really. Just go home.
Show the face.
I just go home. And they say like, oh, no, what do you do? It's like, dude, I'm going home. If my boss called me, I told him that we finish at 2, 3. By the time that I get to the office, it's 4. And I want to just take advantage to have some dinner, cook something. So if he called me, I will tell him. And if he asked me, I will tell him as well. But I'm not going back to the office. It would take me first find a taxi here, then get in there, forget it. And it's like, if you're done, this is your client is happy, just go back, man. This is not happening every day.
Absolutely.
And they feel like, no, man, I can't do this. And then, of course, some people get even worse, like this guy that works 24 hours straight. Yeah, I don't see myself doing that if I was like, you heard the crazy stories about Elon Musk, right? Like sleeping in the factory.
Yeah, that's what I've read.
But it's Elon Musk. How many Elon Musk we have in the world? This is one of the persons that even if you can't compare to that guy, right? He's smart, he's driven, and he's business, and he wants to contribute for something. He wants to do something bigger than himself, right?
Well, I think this is a good distinction.
And he even take care of his family as well. I don't know how he does it. No one knows how he does it.
I thought, I'm not sure again. I thought he divorced recently.
He divorced like a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But he has a new girlfriend or a new wife. I'm not sure. No, I think girlfriend. But he still take care of his kids.
So here's the deal, or how I've sort of.
This he married twice with the same wife.
Really?
And now he's divorced. But he married and they remarried. I don't know what happened.
So this whole idea, and it's a good point that you raised this up. There's this group of super achievers who are these types of life-changing entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, you name it.
Yeah, all of those.
These people have special characteristics in them, and more often than none, they put the impact they want to have to the world ahead of everything else, and they accept it, and that's their choice. Again, it comes back to the choice question. That is either a subconscious or a conscious choice for them to actually make. And it comes with a cost of divorces and bad social or suffering social circles and so forth. But in the grand scheme of things, it gives them more pleasure to know that what they are doing is actually giving them or having such a great impact to this future of this whole society.
And it's good for. We are part of society.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, so now that you say that, like, how will you? So do you think it's okay, for example, do you think it's okay that Elon Musk or even, Steve Jobs and all those, they do that, right? But like this other example of this guy, 3 days straight, and he died in the shower. Like, do you think there's a weight on this? Because like, this guy who worked after working 3 days and he left, what he was trying to achieve. Like, did he wanted to really like change the world, or or he just wanted to impress his bosses, or is that's what he thinks just work, or like these guys that they say, oh man, this is what mankind needs. Like, who has more value? That's something that now I start thinking about it. Well, probably this guy who worked 24 hours, probably he had the same value, probably
Who
not.
knows?
Probably not.
You're absolutely, and it's a good point.
I hope I don't get into that. But yeah.
Who knows? And you're absolutely. It's a great point. Who knows? I mean, who are we to say that somebody's values or drives in this world are somehow less than what other people would have? How I see this though is that working for a multinational corporation until you've destroyed your own health, your own social circles, your family relationships, everything, is likely not, or that will likely not have such a big impact to the well-being of the whole of humanity.
Well, do you see that's the difference then?
So I think there's a distinction there. Yeah. Because when you hear your true calling, which is, for example, going to Mars, or building the communities in Mars, or whatever it might be.
That sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's there.
Yeah,
it's like around the corner, right?
And all it took was one person's never-ending thrive to actually make it real.
And do you follow SpaceX flights and stuff, or you just hear like now and then?
I hear it about now and then. I don't actively.
I follow. I have an app that every time that SpaceX has to launch something, I get notified so I can see all the launches.
It is fascinating. I listened to one of the Elon Musk's speeches about the Mars exploration, and what's the vision in terms of getting people into Mars, and how you can reuse the spacecrafts to go there and come back with the same vessel. It's so fascinating. So they've all figured it out already. Now they just need to test and make it happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's something that when I see like guys like Elon Musk or like Steve Jobs or Wozniak or all those these guys that they have been doing something, then they make a company, then they make. Everyone says, oh, Steve Jobs is enormous. But at the end, they have a team that they do the things, right? And probably they're even better than Elon Musk, because Elon Musk now, that he is now, he just give ideas. But at the end, there's some other guys configuring all these computers who do the rockets, right?
Look at how many people follow that vision.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask an aspiring engineer, would they love to work for SpaceX? My guess is that vast majority would tell, yeah, please.
Yeah,
I'll pay to.
It's like a cult now, like to go work in Tesla or SpaceX. Like
because there's a bigger calling than just the corporate machine of trying to make shareholder money. There's a bigger vision behind it. That's what really moves people. Not just the ones who aspire to work in that, but that aspires other people to become raving fans of the idea and the person, like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk as well.
And now and after saying that, it's like I started to think, many of these things, like they have similarities in between them. They're super smart, whatever, I don't know, like they are genetical genius, how they come, but also the thing they do, I don't know, they wake up early, they start the day early, they read, they talk, they want to do things better, not just for them, and also but the people that they surround, their circle of friends. Of course, yeah. And that's something that I don't know if you have experienced it. Now that I'm 38 years old, I have experienced since I was 33 probably. And it's not, I think I'm quite open, I could be mistaken, but people, they don't like to make friends when they get to a certain age. Like when after they get 30, like people don't want to start making new friends. I don't know if it's my mistake, but I see that is for me, because I've been moving around for the past 10 years. So I go to a place, I need to make friends. I mean, I have no choice. I mean, I have a choice, being alone, but that's not a choice for me, right? So I want to make friends, so I'm quite open. I go here, and sometimes I met this guy, he's cool from the gym, I try him, but at the end they always have things. No, man, I have my family, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my things, and at the end, you know, you start asking them, and then I start to think like, okay, if they don't want, it's because they're not interested, right? They might not be interested to be your friend.
Of course.
And I was thinking like, wow, man, it's so hard to make friends. Then I started thinking, do I really make to just make random friends? And I don't want to sound that I have an interest, but of course I want to make friends, but I also want to make smart friends.
Yeah.
You know, friends who are going to bring something positive to my life and to the rest. But it's so hard now. Have you experienced that? Is it easier for you to make friends? For me, it's super hard to make friends. You know, like, I mean, I can call you a friend now, but you know, this is the first time that we met outside, you know, after many years.
Absolutely.
But
I
found it hard. And then, let's say, if I want to start like a business, because I have so many ideas and I can't make anything concrete like you. I don't know, and I got into a point that I don't know how to do it. And I said, okay, probably I need some support, probably need friends. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know how. And I'm like, oh, this is, and then I start all these things. I have websites, I have podcasts, and I don't do anything with them. So, you know, and I said, okay, probably I should just start. So when you told me, just made a podcast. Oh man, this sounds good. I like it, you know, but it's not very common, you know.
No, it's not. And this is a great question, Fernando. It's so I've gone through a very similar phase as you. So I used to be the most social guy out there in university and shortly after it as well. I mean, it was so pleasurable to meet new people and speak to them and debate with them and you know, get drunk with them and do crazy stuff, right? So it's brilliant. When you're growing up, when you're a kid or when you're in university, that happens naturally in the environment. When you grow out of that space, when you hit your 30s, which is what you mentioned, then you get into your corporate world, corporate career. Yeah, thanks. You get into your corporate career and sort of start establishing your life. You might move to a new country as well, like we've done. It becomes much harder. I can honestly say I've lost a part of my soul in that process because I became so bad at it.
But almost you don't want to make friends, or you don't want, or because it's harder to make.
It's maybe both, because subconsciously I ended up in a position where I just wasn't bothered anymore. Because the only things I had was sports, my wife, and my job, that career, that sort of triangle, which sort of thrived me forward.
It's
so
your base. Yeah.
Because, and this is the thing, maybe it comes from this fact. Creating new friends and connections, there's always a friction point there. It's a bit hard. It requires you to lower your shields a bit, which is something that naturally human beings are not inclined to. Especially when you
I think just when it comes to a certain age, right?
Absolutely,
because when you're younger, you just accept, you know, so probably you don't like it, but it comes to you like, oh, and then you make friends for nothing, right?
Yeah, and you're playful, you're open to explore new things all the time. But when you grow up, then you become so normed into your life that everything that's not fitting your lifestyle is no longer valid for you. Hence, you resent people who do not fit into your narrow fork of lifestyle. And when I actually realized this, and this was probably somewhere at the end of last year, so this is quite recent to me. So I didn't, did a lot of self-reflection. I wrote pages and pages worth of, diary notes about this.
So your diary, you didn't publish or anything? Like,
no, just I write for myself.
Okay.
So I realized that, my goodness, I've really lost a part of my soul to this because I've become this introverted, lazy social being, right? The joy and fulfillment in life comes from your social connections, and for you to be able to give to other people and have the connection with other people, like for example right now. It was such a revelation to me that I was like, oh my fucking God. You
found out that you're not an island, right?
Yeah.
Because there's something like people say like, man, I don't care. Point. Like you can't say don't care because you're not an island, right?
That's very well said. Human beings are social animals.
Exactly.
There's no denying it. It comes from biology and from the history as well. So to be able to be mentally strong, mentally healthy, it just requires you to expand your horizons in your social networks as well.
But then what type of friends you want to make, right?
Which is true. That's absolutely true.
And for me, I don't know you, but for me, I want to make, when I say smart friends, it's not that I want someone to be so smart that give me money to put my business. No, I want smart friends that I can sit and have a conversation. Yeah. And even if you don't share the ideas, you can say, oh, all right, but no, or yes, or I will show you, I'll teach you, or whatever, or you agree with me. Some people. And in Singapore, you have seen Singapore. People are so fast-paced that they don't even want to spend some time.
You don't have time to connect, and it's become a cliche almost to say that.
With social media now, because instead of talking, you're in the phone. Right?
Yeah, that's it. It's become almost a cliche to say that you become the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so fucking true.
It is.
It's so true that. Whoever you surround yourself with, you start unconsciously mirroring their style of living, and
you look the same. You dress the same sometimes.
So it is therefore so crucial to surround yourself with so-called better people than you, smarter people.
Yeah, but that's you because
with different views than yourself.
No, but that's you because you're smart, and because
or just understanding
because
that.
I mean, seriously, you have to see you are smart, and let's say I think I'm smart in that way as well, because for me I want to be surrounded with smarter people, stronger people, because I like sports as you. So I want stronger people, smarter people, even wealthier people, people that I can learn from them, but this is you. But I mean, in my life I have experienced a lot of people that I know. They just want to make friends with people that they're better than the rest because they want to shine, right?
There's
and I have seen it more
seeking validation.
I have seen
from
it
other
more
people.
often than I expected. Like they make friends or probably not friends. They just
with people who agree with their views and sort of give praise to them.
But they want to shine more, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's cool to shine. We all want to shine sometimes, right?
Of course. Comes natural. And this is
that's I see it. Oh, they're like, oh man, that's so sad for me. I prefer sometimes to be talking to someone like, I don't know, like when I hear to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Or when I hear even this guy, Gary Gary Vaynerchuk. He's talking about marketing and social media. Sometimes he might be, full of shit, I would say, but he has a lot of truth what he says. So
his heart is in a good place.
When I hear these people, I say, man, these people are better than me, and I can accept it, and I want to learn about them. But then I found out that that's not, at least in my experience, that's not the majority of the people. So now that you say, it's probably because you're so smart that you know that you want to learn from people, but that's not I don't know if I can say, I think it's not the norm.
It isn't, and I don't.
I think the norm is the opposite. I think the norm is people want to just shine.
Yes, and I
think right. I might be wrong, but
I fully agree with you on that because I used to be that person as well. I wanted to shine. I wanted everybody's validation. I still find myself seeking validation in my marriage, in my friendships, in my social media. I unconsciously seek other people's validation, even though I'm conscious of that challenge already, right? So it is somehow inbuilt into the human genome for us to actually seek validation. So hence, even though, regardless of how smart you are, right, you might still not be conscious of the fact that you are unconsciously always seeking validation, and that then hinders your own progress because you don't surround yourself with people who could take you further, who you see as being so-called better or more successful.
And you get into this circle.
Yeah, absolutely. You stop developing yourself. So this is a great topic because
exactly. I mean, now that you say it can be true, of course, unconscious. We want validation.
Yeah. We want to see those Instagram likes to our posts. We want to see our wives or girlfriends or husbands or friends saying that they love us and so forth.
And that they like us.
It somehow, I don't know where that comes from, but it is somehow inbuilt into majority of people's genomes.
You know what I have found, and you know Jeffrey, right? I mean, I don't know Jeffrey if he heard this podcast, but one day we were talking about something, and we were talking about new people that they say, oh no, I don't like this, or I like this guy, or I don't like this guy, and then they come and say like, well, like for example, you, Fernando, at the beginning, it's not easy to like you, and I'm like, Jeffrey, but
do you even know me?
But you like me. I mean, now you like me. Jeffrey's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He goes to whatever Bali. When he comes back, he bring me a pair of socks. Hey man, I saw this. I thought about you. Socks. And like, socks is
Absolutely.
$2. So it's nothing. But I was like, oh man, this guy love me. So I like Jeffrey. But what he told me that he said that, hey man, at the beginning it's not easy to like you. Like.
Did you ask him why?
And I said like, but why? He said like, man, it's your personality. It's very shocking to a lot of people. And I say, why? And they say, because, some people come and when people are telling you, like, you ask them something, then they say, oh, I want to do this and this, but I can't because I have no choice. And I say, man, you always have a choice. No, I have no choice. I say, bullshit, you always have a choice. And then there's like, oh. And so they say, when I say bullshit, you have a choice, they say like, no, why you can't say that to me, So that's why they say that it's not easy to like me, because I'm more like confrontational probably. Because I say like, no, you can't, of course you have a choice. And they say, no, I have a choice. And I say, bullshit, man, you're full of shit. That's just a lame excuse. So I tell them that, and for them it was something so, they were talking something very like a delicate, like a topic, not very easy to talk, and I told them that that's bullshit, that this is just a lame excuse, and they feel like, oh, what the fuck, man, you don't even know me, right? And now I'm like, oh, I thought that was something positive, like some people to come and tell you like, it's not that I'm right all the time, but come on, if you tell me you come, at the end there are excuses, and it happens to me all the time. I give excuses all the time. But he said that because of those things, it's not easy to like me. And then, then it comes everything behind. That's why it's not that easy to make friends. And then that's why I want to shine.
Yeah, that's it.
But I didn't know that it was so easy, that I had this personality that people find sometimes too aggressive or
I think that's that's a very, very interesting story that you brought this up, because
let me check how is this video going.
No worries. So I've become a raving fan of this character called Ray Dalio.
Ray
Dalio.
I don't know.
Ray Dalio is one of the most successful hedge fund managers ever, living on this planet, right?
Is he in Shark Tank or something?
No.
No,
so he built this Bridgewater Associates hedge fund
I'm not
decades
familiar
ago.
with that. Okay.
And he wrote this book called The Principles. And in that book, which I recommend to everybody listening and to yourself as well, he talks about this concept of radical transparency, which basically, in how I read it and how I understand it, is throw away all of the political correctness that you have out the fucking window, and just say the things how they are and how you think about it, regardless of who you are talking to, right? The ground rule is that you need to have backing to your statement, right? So you can't just say out loud your opinions, because opinions can be dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
What you say has to be backed by some logic, some logical argumentation, right? This is such. That book I've listened, because I listen. I'm an avid listener of audiobooks, right?
Yeah.
I listened to that book for 7 times in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It hit me so hard
Is it easy to read? I mean, or listen?
Yeah.
Or is it just like this complicated language?
No, it's pretty easy to listen. It's not very complicated, like Jordan Peterson's.
Yeah, like some.
But so it was so astonishing to notice that. I noticed it in myself, and in everybody, especially in the workplace, that this happens. These people are trying to be politically correct all the time, not to offend the other person because they want to say how things are, right? And it comes back to what you said just now, say that I find you a bit rude because you say that's an excuse. That's bullshit. What you were trying to do there is to expose that, okay, so please don't use that as an excuse to move on in your life or be better. It's the same thing in a company environment or in a relationship or anywhere in life, right? It's a shame that in many cultures being direct is equals to being too confrontational, because it isn't that really.
And Asians are not very keen to confrontation, right?
And it comes from the culture, and I do understand
it's cultural stuff.
It's something so revealing that when we can accept the fact that being direct and saying that, calling out your bullshit, so to speak, and challenging you on something, is simply, trying. It's from a loving heart, right? So it's simply trying to help you to get to where you want to be. It's not about being politically correct, because being politically correct can destroy businesses.
It's not going to bring you anywhere.
Destroy careers. Can destroy marriages, it can destroy families, it can destroy everything. So please, kids, don't be politically
And that's
correct.
what Defi said something later, that but then I met you, and then he said that he appreciated me a lot because I have given him a lot of good advice. And sometimes I don't even knew that I was giving some advices, but he thought that just with the simple things of giving some time to talk to him about something. And then, hey, man, I think that's not okay. I think this is better. And then when he accepted me how I was, he was like, oh man. And then that's why now I think that's why he's such a nice person to me, right? Because he found out that, oh man, Fernando is not such a bad person, right? But I mean, I never think myself a bad person. I think I'm a good person. But
that's not how other people see
I
you.
didn't know that. Like how aggressive or my personality was until, I knew from a while, but in Asia works a little bit even more.
And it's a concept of, if you go to Russia, right? Have you been to Russia?
Not yet.
If you go to Russia, they will probably call you soft, right? Because they are very confrontational, and the Slavic cultures are very confrontational. Being married to a Finnish wife whose heritage is in the Russian roots, right? So my wife's parents are from Russia, right? So whenever we've gathered around the table and having dinner, right? In the first few years when I didn't understand what's happening, I thought they were fighting every single night. It was like shouting and debating all the time. It's like people were, to me, to a soft sort of mellow Finn, it seemed that what's happening here? This is not it. But it's about that culture, and to them, and probably to your culture as well, it's natural, right?
Yeah,
it's how you've been grown up.
For Latin Americans, we are very passionate.
Absolutely.
We always talk like that, and we move the arms, and they know, newish and other people, they find it very odd at the beginning. They were like, hey man, it's okay, don't get angry. I'm not angry. You say, I'm not angry. And then I'm like, shit, it's going to kill you.
And you're so right. And that's something that I've learned from, especially from my wife and from the family, is that right? Well, if you want to get forwards in life, you need to be, you need to say the things as they are, and you need to be able to argue without being offended by somebody disagreeing with you passionately.
And then,
right?
and have you? After you thinking that and you listening or reading to Jordan Peterson, have you? It's like, oh man, I'm not alone. Because in one of his, there's one of his interviews he did for GQ magazine that
I haven't read that one.
I don't remember what he said, but he was saying that, you know, like it's not okay to you know, sometimes when you tell something, I might be disrespecting you, right? And so Jordan Peterson is like, yeah, no, what you say is not correct. And then the girl, she started to make noise and stuff. And then he said like, okay, listen to this. You're a very smart journalist, right? And you come and ask me all these weird questions, why I do this and why I do that. It's like, don't you think that you might be disrespecting me asking those questions, but in order for you to get some answers, you have to take that chance of being disrespectful. You know, and the woman, she was like, and then it's like, you see, he got you, you know.
This is the Channel 4.
That's
the Channel 4 interview.
Oh yeah, that's a Channel 4. It's not GQ. It was Channel 4. It's not GQ.
It is a brilliant piece of art.
I have seen so many interviews with him that that's a Channel 4. Channel 4. It's a British girl, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, correct. And it's a brilliant one. The people listening who haven't seen that, go seek that out. Jordan Peterson Channel 4 interview. It's got like 18 million views or something on YouTube. So it is a great example of what we're talking about here. So
you have to allow yourself to probably be disrespectful in order to seek answers and truth, right?
Because you can see that in that interview, the journalist sort of takes a very confrontational approach to Jordan Peterson.
She was not really being very journalistic. She just wanted to, poke, right?
Yeah. But how Jordan Peterson conducted himself, even though this very confrontational setting, was simply amazing. Yeah. I mean, everyone can learn from that. And he even said at the end of the interview that something like, or gave like praise to her of actually being true to herself and being sharp and asking those direct questions and challenging Jordan in terms of getting the right answers out as well. So it's not even though people might seem to be like they are attacking you or being confrontational or being rude to you, it might not be the case from the bottom of their hearts.
Exactly.
What they're trying to...
It's just to seek an answer to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so amazing. But then what makes the difference here is like you find that it's not just you. Then when you find someone like Jordan Peterson, right, that is like, I would say it's above majority of people when I mean, how do you say, like related to thinking, I think he's abroad of normal people. He's beyond normal.
He's not
people.
about. He's a clinical psychologist and PhD in psychology as well.
Yeah.
I like him. His way of thinking and describing, for example, the Bible is quite interesting. The Bible series.
Are you a religious person?
No.
Okay, yeah. So me neither. Sometimes. I don't agree all the time with him. Like, let's say 10% of the things I don't agree. 90% I think he's good. And because of me listening to his books or his podcast or whatever, like I have been reading so many books that he talk about. Like the latest one, I don't know if you have read it. It's terrible. I mean, it's a very good book, but it's such a hard book. I don't understand it. It's
which book was
Paradise Lost.
Okay, I haven't read.
From John Milton. Is ridiculously hard to read or to listen.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's very old English.
Oh, okay. And it makes it even harder, right?
And it's like it's Paradise Lost. Let me check this because we might need to change the battery.
No worries.
Let's just make a stop here. Then change battery.
Take 4.
We talk about Paradise Lost, right?
No, what will happen?
You need a toilet or something?
Yeah. That's good.
So first door to the left.
To the left.
No, okay.
Paradise Lost.
So Paradise Lost. John Milton. Never heard about it? He wrote these books like in 1600s or 1800s.
So the English is quite difficult.
It's
right?
difficult, and it's a very fun story because Paradise Lost is about how Adam and Eve lost paradise, right? Because they eat the apple. So I mean, I read it because Jordan Peterson talks so much about it in some of their books or one of the podcasts that I have seen. That he was talking so much about it because, as you say, he likes to put things from the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So I was very curious, and I found it. I downloaded, and it's funny because Paradise Lost is like a mix between. It's a story of Adam and Eve and the angels, and then how they lost paradise and stuff. But how they tell the story is like Lord of the Rings mixed with I don't know. It's like Lord of the Rings mixed with one of the novels from Homer, like Odyssey or something. So it's very epic.
Okay.
But it's also with you don't call rhyme. It's called when you something prose.
Yeah. So it's like poetic.
Yeah. So like. And it's very hard, the English is very hard. The construction of the sentences are old, but the topic is very interesting, and so it's a very good book, right? So it's part of Jordan Peterson's pick. So after hearing so many Jordan Peterson, I have Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
There's another one that he talks about that is called. It's from a Russian guy. He was talking about the gulags and stuff. What about it is... Well, I can't find the audiobook.
I think I've heard of that book, yes. Can't recall his name, though.
That he says what the parts of the book that he called when he's giving his speeches is that one of the guys have to make this decision that in order to do something good, he has to kill someone.
Yes.
Right? But then he comes this thing like, okay, I have to do something, but I have to kill someone. And at the end, he kills it. So the Gulag Archipelago is from Solchesky or something. I don't know.
Dostoevsky, was it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't recall it either.
So I want to read it too. But so like after Jordan Peterson, like said, like, so when I'm hearing, because I used to do audiobooks, I just heard like, about the books, and I just type it. And then it makes sense. Of course, his literature is so...
It is quite vast.
That... Of course, you have like that. You have to be a study like that.
And it's interesting how he puts everything into psychological context, even the Bible. And I know it is only one person's view of how that could be explained from a psychological context, how Bible and how everything can be explained.
He's a religious
it's a very
person.
intriguing perspective. I like that for sure, and I do think how he interprets the historical literature, like significant books of the history. For example, the Bible is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and as he said, like, I mean, the Bible is a book, but it's a book that it has been written and completed and written again for
many people.
A lot of people for thousands of years.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why he says, of course, some of the things, because I'm not such religious, sometimes I think like, okay, well, that's stretching a lot, but all right, I can take it. I can share his idea. I don't need to believe it, but I can share it. So like talking, I mean, it's a different topic now. So for you, what do you like more, audiobooks or normal books?
For me, this is an easy decision. I love, so from a personality perspective, I'm an audio centric person. So I love music, I love listening to people, I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts and everything. So it's an easy pick, audiobooks by far. It's somehow
very convenient for me. For me, it's convenient. For me, it's convenient, the audiobooks.
Okay, yeah. Well, true as well, because you can reduce your downtime when you're commuting to zero because you can listen to audiobooks. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is I go to CrossFit in the morning, 7 a.m. I go back home, I eat my breakfast, I cycle to work, so 10K full on, but I listen to audiobooks and podcasts all the time, on my way to CrossFit, on my way to work and back, and all my downtime. I try to basically eradicate my downtime by listening to podcasts and audiobooks.
Yeah. So yeah, I try to do the same, but at the beginning, I don't know since how long you have been doing this, but at the beginning it's a little bit hard, right? Because you start listening, but you're in the bus and you start looking at the windows. It's, oh, such a nice car. And then 10 minutes happen and you don't remember anything that you, right?
Yeah. So it requires being mindful of your own focus as well.
And that's a lot of people told me, oh no, I can't do audiobooks. Why? I don't pay attention. And I said, just focus in the damn book. And it happened to me. Oh, Fernando, no, we all know like you. Like, it's not about me. I'm not trying to, it's not about me. Just if you want to do it. So I get into the same issue again. Like people feel that I'm not that easy because, no, it's because you said that you wanted to learn, right? So these are the books. I can't do audiobooks. Then I said, then you just forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You tell me, I tell you, you can't. You said that you can't. You don't want. That's it. You don't want.
It comes back to what you said in the beginning. It's all about your own choice, right?
That is just you just don't want. You want some water?
Yeah, please. But yeah, it's interesting. I've learned. I've been relatively narrow-minded myself in the past, and I've had the opportunity, and I've been somehow lucky and all that. Had the life experiences that has enabled me to open up my own views of
like
myself.
Narrow-minded? Like in what? In certain topics or just like a person?
Not accepting other people's views of life, or some whatever it is. You know, it might be politics, or it might be ways of living, or it might be listening to audiobooks, or not, or whatever it might be. Over the years, it just made me realize that there's no right or wrong answer to anything. It's just different perspectives to different topics.
Yeah, but in some things it's not like that. You know, like there's something. I mean, you are right in the majority, but in some things are like no. Like I can tell the example. I have some colleagues that they say they come and talk to me because they know that I'm always training in this sport, right? So like, oh man, usually women, I want to lose weight, and first I'm like, man, you look so skinny, you don't need to lose weight, please. Okay, I want to lose. Okay, you need to lose weight. What do I do? So okay, first, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. So I will tell you as a scientist, mathematically speaking, it's mathematics. Like if you want to go from point A to point B, you put in your car 1 liter of gasoline. You go from one point to one point B. If you put 120 like more, you get there and you put again, then the water will spill in the gasoline in your body. You just become fat. So you have to make the calculations how much energy you need, how much calories you need. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, it's so troublesome. Okay, how? Then I say I will suggest you to read these books, like a couple of books that I have. But at the end, it's just mathematics. If for your life you need 1,000 calories to live daily, if you want to lose weight, you have to consume less. And it's going to take time. It's not going to one day. If you just want not to eat at all, or doing fasting, it will be faster. But if not, if you need 1,000 calories, start to consuming 800. And then with time, do exercise, and with time things will change.
Take 4.
How do I say this? It's like to answer.
No worries, go ahead.
Yeah. Is that background music here? Now it's take 4.
Exactly.
Let's just see what she wants. Hello?
My greetings.
Yes?
Greetings.
Nico, say hi. We are in the middle of the podcast. You interrupt our podcast. What do you need? Tell me. Where are you? Are you coming back soon? Okay. Bye.
So let me backtrack this a bit. So because you're right, you have a good point. So I was misrepresenting the idea which I was trying to bring forth.
So what after I tell you all these things, they say, oh no. I said like, then don't ask me. I mean, don't ask me. You ask me, and I tell you the things, and you don't want to believe me, or then just don't come and ask me. I mean, I'm not the parable of truth, but you don't want to read the book. You don't want to eat less.
It's a choice.
Then just don't come to me. You don't want to lose weight, right? So
and you're right, and this is a good point. So when I say that there's no ultimate truth, there's just different viewpoints. I mean more towards the views towards life which are non-scientifically based. So there are certain scientific truths which do matter, such as the energy balance.
Like what I make fun.
Law of thermodynamics. That's like So that aside, so my point was more towards on the softer sides of things in terms of what works in politics, of what works in relationships, and all that type of stuff. Yes, so I've been in, so just continuing from what you said in terms of dieting, for example.
Oh, you're a good example of that.
Yeah.
You know what to do. You're a life's example.
In the world of dieting and weight loss, there's, oh my goodness, how much money is there in that marketplace. People pour in billions and billions of dollars on an annual basis into that. And there's so many millions of different diets in terms of how you are presented, how you can lose weight. And technically, all of these work. Almost all of these work. Technically. At the end of the day, what scientifically can be said is that majority of the benefits of these diets are not because of the diet itself, but because of the caloric deficit that drives the weight loss. From saying that one diet is better than another diet is not right, because one diet might be better for you and the other diet might be better for me.
Or also one diet would be better for something for you, and not for the other thing.
Absolutely. So here comes what I was pointing out towards. So ketogenic diet might be great for you because you can adhere to that for a longer period of time, because that makes you less hungry, and you can adhere to the caloric deficit, adhere to or buy this ketogenic diet better. So that might be great for you. For me, it might be a distraction. It might be terrible to try to not eat carbs at all. So for me, flexible dieting might be the answer to weight loss, which it was essentially. So from that angle, you have different truths to the same scientific fact, right? So that's why what I've learned is I used to be a zealot, how you say that?
What's a zealot?
Zealot is like focused on one narrow vision towards life, towards a certain thing alive. And what I've just learned is that there's so many different ways to the same end result, and usually you can create the same results by taking different paths to it.
So saying that, which one would you prefer more? Like I said now, I mean, and I do it. What do you prefer more? Like intermittent fasting, intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, because there's a small difference, but not everyone can say the difference. But I think I know how it, or another type of diet. So which one you think is? I mean, because of course that's the thing. Because when you talk about intermittent fasting, people think it's just okay, just fast. No, but it's also what do you eat, and you have to put exercise on it. I mean, when you say intermittent fasting, have things imply, like you should go for walks, you should do more exercise, you should, control your food. It's not just fasting. It's but people think fasting, okay, then they just go eat donuts and stuff, and they say that it could work, like technically speaking, right? So like, what do you think is better, like fasting and or time restricted eating, or some of the scientifically proved diets?
This is a beautiful topic. Now, guys, we're gonna dive into the rabbit hole. Hopefully,
I for sure you know a lot about it because you're quite into.
I've tried all of the diets, probably not all of them, but a lot of diets, right? So I used to be the yo-yo guy. So I used to be able to lose weight and essentially gain all of it back and a bit more, right? So I used to do this yo-yo dieting for about 15 years. Ever since I quit playing competitive ice hockey, right? Weight was an issue for me. I tried ketogenic diets. I tried Atkins diet, which is almost the same thing, right? Literally the same thing. I tried intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, which is
basically the
same thing. I've tried a VLCD, so very low calorie diet, which is eating 800 calories a day only from powders. Stupid, don't do it. Anyway, so I've tried all this stuff, right? I've tried flexible dieting, I've tried calorie counting, again the same thing, and so forth. So my own.
Yeah, what's your favorite or?
My favorite.
For you, like which was the one you think it works? I mean, I know there's a lot of things, but like, which one will you mix? Like, say, okay, this one, it would be the best if you put some turkey here. And
so I lost 28 kilos.
Wow.
24 kilos in 28 weeks in 2016, 2017. And how I did that and managed to keep all that weight off ever since, so now going 3 years, give or take, was through flexible dieting. This concept called flexible dieting, whereby I only had a certain macronutrient goals for the day, which I then hit by whatever means I wanted to.
But you have to.
So I have to hit certain grams of protein, say 170 grams of proteins, 150 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fats, for example. Whatever took me there didn't matter really. I needed to hit a certain gram number of fiber as well, because fiber is essential for your gut health and all that stuff. That essentially gave me the leeway of understanding what actually for example, a Snickers bar, how much is calories in it, 250-ish, depending on the size of the Snickers bar, and the macronutrient content of it. And then seeing how that actually impacts, number one, your hunger levels, which is probably going to be like zero.
And what about for you? Are you someone who feel hunger very often? Like you're someone who likes to eat a lot?
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I'm not. Let's say I like food, but for me it's easy not to eat. So that's not. I think it's not normal, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is normal for you.
No, but I'm saying, but for me it's normal, but not normal for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or for Nu, for example, Nu, she loves to eat as well.
Mm.
But for me, it's like, if I can't eat, I don't eat. That's it.
That's perfect. So for me, it works out brilliantly. So what I learned from that is that I can actually get more satiated by eating cauliflower, eating broccoli, eating shiitake noodles, which have close to 0 calories. Very, whole food type diets. And whole foods food sources, right? So I understood the whole concept that you can get your stomach full and feel good and get the enjoyment of food by your own. It comes back to the choice, right? By going back to your food choices. So whatever you eat for your breakfast, for your lunch, for your dinner, you can get the same feeling without getting fat again by simply making the correct food choices.
So what you do, only what, like you said, so what you were doing is mainly like counting the macros.
Yeah, so purely counting macros.
And of course it was like a deficit of.
Yes. So another shameless plug. It's not, obviously I'm not associated with this company, but this company called Avatar Nutrition. They have an sort of smart algorithm-based macronutrient counter for you, which adjusts your macronutrient targets based on your weekly check-ins when you click your weight or put in your weight and body fat percentage on a weekly basis to that system, based on your goal. If it's rapid fat loss or whatever it's called, then there's like a 900 grams loss target per week of body weight. If you meet that target, then the system will not change your target macros. But if you fail to meet that target, if you haven't lost it, it's likely going to lower your macro targets over time, just a bit, for you to continue on that weight loss journey. Because of the fact that over time the body adjusts to the caloric deficit, right? So your caloric output actually reduces. Not going to go into the details of that, how it works, but it's brilliant. So you just chuck in your new macronutrient goals into your MyFitnessPal, for example. So that's what I use.
Yeah,
There's millions of others out there, similar macro calculator or calorie calculators as well. And then you just stick to it, and it becomes an automatic fashion for you. And that's how I lost, and that's how I've been able to keep away all the way.
Well, you see, people don't like to count. I mean, I'm not counting either, but
You don't have to.
I mean, in my case, I'm still, for example, like 2 weeks ago, I was 81 kilograms. Today, I'm 78.5. And I'm like, because I want to be 84.
Okay.
That's my goal, 84 kilograms. And I strive to get 84 because, I get worried, like, okay, I have to, let's say, technically speaking, I have to overeat, right?
Yeah.
To gain weight. But what do I want? I mean, I don't want to higher my cholesterol and get sick because overeating. Because technically speaking, you have to eat everything, but they say no, you have to eat good food. Okay, good food, but I'm not counting because I want to get 84, but I'm not really serious into like in a systematic way. I just want to get there eventually.
Then you need to eat more.
So, but there's like, well, then I eat more, and then what do I eat? And I sometimes I think I'm eating more, but the weight, the balance is showing that it's not.
Well,
So that's the thing. Then I said, shit. Then I guess I should start counting, like to get to the goal, right?
Yeah. Well, try it out. I mean,
I have to, because I used for a while when I was like around 70. When I just moved here, I was around 73 kilograms 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm okay. I'm a skinny person. 73 kilograms. It's not bad, right? I mean, it's okay. You're just skinny. It's
Of
fine.
course, yeah.
But because of my tournaments and CrossFit, and because
You
you
gain a
want
lot
to
of
look
muscle.
better as well,
Of course.
and because I feel better if like, in sports with more weight. Then I start my fitness pal. I put and I start eating and having breakfast, and then until now, 3 weeks ago I was 81 kilograms. But let's say I could get to 78. So my weight since 2 years ago was 78. And I'm like, okay, now I'll get 84. But I got to 81, and now I get 78.5. And I think it's because I'm not training enough and I'm not eating enough.
That's it. And
But then, should I get count calories again, or
so if you want to get into certain because the human body is so adaptive to all sorts of situations. This is going to be a bit of a long story, but I try to condense it as much as I can. So, starting from a position where you are right now, you've never been fat or overweight, correct?
yeah.
So that puts you in a position where your body's fat cell count is very low from birth on.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that if I just like keep it chill in my food, I will get to 74 easily. I will just drop to 70.
That's it.
So that's what you say, right?
So you're predisposed into being or having a low body fat set point, correct? Therefore, just listening to how you to your story is that it is gonna be a chore for you to put on weight, and even though you might start eating more, what your body could actually do is to adapt to that caloric excess so that it starts putting out more by increasing your non-exercise induced caloric output, for example, which basically means twitching and turning and generating more heat from your body because you have this caloric excess, which is not stored into your body fat. So that said, even though if you eat more, your body might adjust to it by putting out more calories from this NEA. activity, right? So, and that works other way around as well. So if I'm fat, or when I was fat, so my sort of maintenance calories at that stage when I started, I counted them to be around 3,000, based on the outputs of Fitbits, or not Fitbit, but Garmin and whatever I used at that stage. So I counted if I drop about 1,300 calories per day a deficit, so that would take me to around 1,700 per day. That equals, over a week's period of time, that equals roughly 9,000 calories. 1 gram of fat, 9 calories. 1 kilo of fat is 9,000 calories. That means that I lose 1 kg per week, right? So that started happening. So it became sort of truth to me, right? So it works out quite nicely from the calculation perspective. But so this 1,700 calories, 1 kilo per week, that slows down suddenly because the body adapts to the lower caloric input by lowering your non-exercise induced caloric output, by making you more lethargic, by changing your activity levels. Your energy levels go down start adjusting drastically, right? So what that then means is that you will make a stall at some point, even though you're eating still at, say, 1,700 calories a day. Then what you need to do to continue on that fat loss is either of the two things: increase your exercise-induced caloric output, i.e., do more cardio or whatever workouts you might be doing, or reduce your calories further.
Again.
So it becomes, and his body is such a sophisticated, because it's a sophisticated machine that it continues doing that because at some stage it goes into survival mode as well.
Yeah, it adapts.
Yeah, it adapts.
It makes sense, yeah.
So, and it adapts to both sides, right? So the balance here, the homeostasis, stasis, however you call it, is where the body is comfortable with being. So for you, it is probably around 78 kilos, right? Or 74, 5, whatever it is. So it's hard for you to get to 81 or 84. It's hard for you to go back to 73 or 70.
Yeah, well, that's something that is, because with 72, I can still manage, so for my weight, like weight to strength ratio, I don't know if it exists, I could still bench, 220 pounds. That I don't know if it's not like, whoa, wow.
Yeah, very big weight, so yeah.
But I'm 72 kilograms. So you're a skinny person, but you can squat and do.
Yeah.
So quite strong person. And okay, I can do it. But when I start getting to 78 kilograms, I feel that, wow, less pain. So it's easy to squat, or easy to bench, or easy to. So then I was like, okay, this is what I feel. I feel it better,
And why
so
is
that's
that?
why I want to get to 84 to see if my body still. If I feel too heavy and if I feel too slow, then I would just say, no, fuck it, just go down around 80 again.
Why is that? There's two reasons for it. Number one, there's probably a bit more energy in your body to support your heavy lifts. Number two, there's more supportive tissue around your muscles and joints to support the heavy lifts as well. So it doesn't feel so sort of raw, if you may, to do heavy squats, for example. Because the more painful it will feel, the skinnier you are to squat heavy. Even if you had exactly the same strength, it will be more painful the less supportive tissue you have around. So the supportive tissue, I mean the fluids that's in your cells, and the body fat that you have around your joints as well, and around your muscles as well. It becomes this additional supportive tissue to your heavy lifts as well. That's why it feels easier for you.
I feel much better.
Absolutely.
And I think I see in the mirror, or even Nu, or the girl that was there. They say that you look much better. I mean, 74, 72, you look skinny. It's okay, you still look okay, but 78, you much better. And I was like, yeah, I feel better. So
that's it.
But now I need to go to 84.
Yeah.
So
and how you get there is by increasing your calories constantly so long that your body weight starts going gradually upwards.
But then that's what I have. Probably that's the point. I probably have to start counting.
Yeah. If you cannot.
Because I haven't, for the past if I'm going down 81 kilograms 3 weeks ago, now 81, now I'm 78.5, that means that probably I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, because if you eat, it sounds to me like if you eat intuitively, you will not gain weight.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how you. This is based on how you want to eat, right? So that then becomes something that you need to focus on, and the way to focus on it is to, or one of the ways to focus on it is to start actually counting your calories.
And then one day I said, okay, man, one of the goals, it's time to probably to just show some abs, you know. And okay, I can have that, but for abs, it's, you know, like, it's a very tricky, right, thing. And I was like, then I was trying to say, like, no. Then
you have a contradiction there.
But it took me like 3 weeks probably to decide, like, no, forget about the abs. I just want to get to 84 kilograms.
Because it's either 84 kg or the abs, which will take
Yes.
you to 74 or something.
I didn't think for the weight, but I was thinking about the type of food that you have to eat and the type of, you have to really do a lot of cardio and a lot of, you know, and I was like, no, then forget it. I would just try to get to 84. And then around 84 or 85, then I would just try to, okay, I want abs, then you can go to 80 probably, right?
This is the funny.
But then you know, after reading, you know, you need Testosterone Nation. Do you read T Nation?
T Nation, I've read it sometimes.
So it's one of my favorite things to go, you know, because they are very raw with the things they say, and
it can get a bit messy. So just be careful.
there's a lot of how to say, people who write articles.
Yeah.
So some of them I'm like, I don't trust. But for example, this guy Christian Thibodeau.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know if you have heard about him. So this guy for me is like, and I have seen him training, I have seen his size, I have seen how he talks, and so, okay, this guy, I have to learn to listen to this guy. And, you know, so after listening to this guy, there was another guy that I forgot the name. I said, I need to build some traps and butt. That's what you really, you know, that's abs. Like I say, every skinny ass bitch can have abs. You just need to be skinny.
That's it.
But traps and butt.
That's pure muscle.
Yeah, and if I want to squat, you need butt. You know, so that's my goal now.
And it's great.
So no more abs. Abs, like, forget it. Abs might come with time, but.
And this is the funny bit about the whole abs craze. I don't know why people, including myself, have been so obsessed. Okay, yeah, we need to get abs. Abs is like the number one thing that people want from their fitness journey, probably across the world. If you take a large sample size, is that I want to get my abs to show.
Now is the booty for the girls.
Booty, that's the second one. So, in order for you to get abs, the only thing you have to do is to lose body fat. Simple as that.
Well, why?
Yeah, sure. I'll change this one for a bit. So, it's funny. You see people doing millions of crunches and some ab exercises to try to get abs, but truthfully, and it's all good, so don't get me wrong.
You have to still do it, right?
It's good to do your core exercises to strengthen your core, but your ab muscles will never grow as much or enough to actually be visible from the layer of body fat which is on top of it. If you want to be able to show your abs, simply you need to go to caloric deficit, and your abs will come.
That's why you have to like bulk. So one of these guys from T Nation, he said, like, you want to show abs? Yeah, okay. Caloric deficit and weights, like abs with weights.
Yeah, true.
Okay, if you do some abs, some crunches, fine, but you have to put some weights. You have to put a 45 pounds disc, and you have to do the ball. You have to do Russian twist you have to do everything. You have to do
GHD and everything.
You have to GHD. You have to do heavy squats.
Yeah.
You have to go searcher squats. We're like, wow, man, that's why these guys are what they are, right? Because they know this shit, right? It's not like you say. It's not that they just do abs. No, that doesn't work. It's caloric deficit. So then now the next.
Can I answer the initial question you had? Because you asked which diet is the best.
Yeah.
Is it intermittent fasting or whatnot? So how it works for me is that because I work out a lot, so I end up working out 2 to 2.5 hours a day. So that includes the CrossFit in the morning. Now I cycle to work full on for 30 minutes with a road bike, so that becomes a half an hour workout, and then back from work. So that is another hour. Then I do about half an hour of stretching a day. So that So for me, I need to have my breakfast. So I can't do IF or anything like this during the week time because I, work out in the morning and stuff. But there isn't one way to lose weight. For how I would eat intuitively, if I didn't have any schedule in my day, such as today, it will be intermittent fasting. In the weekends, I intuitively always do intermittent fasting. So I don't eat before noon ever during the weekends almost. So today I had my breakfast at 12:30 p.m. And then, so in the weekends I intuitively enjoy eating twice a day. So I eat breakfast and a very heavy dinner, which is brilliant. So therefore, even though IF or time restricted eating is not the answer to your weight loss goals, if you do not control the calories, if that enables you to create the caloric deficit and if you're able to stick to it, then IF is for you. But there's nothing magical about it. Other than the caloric deficit that you will be able to create behind it. That's what I believe, because that is what the scientific evidence is currently stating. So if IF makes it easier for you not to eat as much, then perfect. But yes, you can still get fat by doing IF, by eating more calories within that window of eating than what you put out. Simple as that.
And then, but that's something that people say, intermittent fasting. So people think intermittent fasting is like magic, some sort of
magic
black magic. And so people they say no, but intermittent fasting I have to eat 3 meals. And then it's like, no, it's because you don't understand. Intermittent fasting is probably eating 1 or 2 meals. But because it is not explained, because intermittent fasting is not really like a diet. It's just like
it's a time.
So
I'll give you a good example.
So people, but for me, time restrict. I did some intermittent fasting for a while, and I just did it to see how it works. And I had interesting feelings that because I was not eating in the morning because my dinner is too late, around 9.
Yeah.
So during the morning I don't eat, even if I train. But during the morning, at the beginning it was a bit hard, because sometimes you're hungry around 10. But then I got used to this just a couple of weeks. I could find my mind more focused, I could find myself more energetic even if I have less food. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is so weird. And then I started looking to, listen to Joe Rogan and a lot of these podcasts that's all around, like, oh yeah, so I'm not the only one. It's not that it's weird or it's really happening. But then I found things because I eat too late. And I also have been reading a lot of books that it's better to follow like a circadian clock. It would be the best
circadian rhythm,
for humans.
It
right?
is, yeah.
And then that's what I want to do now. So I want to, because there's some people, they do intermittent fasting, but their last food is around 5 p.m. So the next day, even they train at 8 or 9, they have breakfast, like a normal thing. And I'm like, oh man, I would like to try that. But because of the lifestyle that I take, it's very hard because at 5 I'm still at work.
Let me
so I don't know how to do it. Really.
Let me challenge you a bit. If you want to get to 84 kilos of weight, why do you want to do intermittent?
Oh no, but that was before. Now I'm just like I wanted to try. Okay, I'm going to switch to intermittent fasting.
Sure.
To intermittent fasting, but in a different schedule, right? Because I was not thinking about the weight. I was just thinking about how I feel and body fat and cholesterol stuff and all this positive stuff that fasting brings. That it does bring a lot of positive stuff. It's in the scientist papers, right? So that's why I wanted to have it, and I did it for like 6 months.
All right.
And I could keep my 80 kilograms for almost 6 months. I kept them.
That's good. Yeah.
But of course, the time that I was eating, I really have to, I have to eat.
So it becomes a bit of a chore, right?
So I'm eating, I'm eating, and oh shit, I need to go home, I have to do a protein shake and I need to eat, and But after a while, some months ago, because after the competition, I forgot about everything. And now I'm again 78.
There you go.
Right?
But this is a good, this discussion is just highlighting from both sides that number one, determine the goal of what you want to do,
right?
what you want to do with your body. If it's to increase your weight, if it's to lose weight, whatever it is. If it's just to maintain your weight, then don't change anything, right?
Oh, but do you think
If your goal is to put on some muscle and gain some weight, you need to eat more than you put out. That's a simple fact of life.
Mathematics.
And how to build muscle, and muscles require protein to as a building material. So you will need to eat high protein diet. And no, your kidneys will not be damaged by very high amounts of protein. You'll be perfectly fine. There is, again, scientific evidence to this, that it's very, very difficult to overeat on protein, even if you ate like 300-400 grams a day. There's no evidence to have kidney problems or whatever. So don't believe all the hype media about this. So if you want to put on muscle, it is very difficult for you to actually lose fat mass at the same time, unless you are a very beginner in the beginning stages of your fitness journey. So you will need to accept the fact that you'll build some muscle, but you will additionally build some body fat as well. So be comfortable with that.
I'm okay with that. I'm still around 16, 18 body fat, so
it's perfect. That's
still okay. I can even go to 20.
Yeah, so then, if you want to lose weight, you will need to create a caloric deficit. There are various different ways to create it. Intermittent fasting, ketogenic diet, Atkins diet, which is almost the same thing, flexible dieting, whatever diet there might be, which creates that caloric deficit for you. But none of these diets are magic or any better than the other one per se. What science says is that high protein or relatively high protein intake during your caloric deficit combined with resistance training will spare your muscle mass during your weight loss journey, because otherwise what the body will do is it will start breaking down your protein, the proteins in your body as well, which technically is your muscle.
Okay, so do you remember where we
yes,
finished?
So
where we get interrupted by...
No worries. So basically, I think we were finishing the discussion on the nutrition side of things, even though that is a very wide topic of interest.
So you say carnivore, right?
Yeah. So, and even that, I think.
But when I say carnivore, doesn't mean that you don't eat vegetables.
That's too black and white. I wouldn't choose either of those because.
Yeah, I know, but I said like if you have to choose, at least for a short term.
I would intuitively choose carnivore because I do enjoy the meats.
So
so for me, vegetarian or vegan diets are okay if you have ethical reasons to be on such diets.
Okay, yeah.
That's perfectly fine. I understand the reasons behind it. However, to say that vegan or vegetarian diets are more healthy for you, there's no evidence to that.
Well,
that I have a bit of a problem.
I have read or seen in YouTube, because I like to watch YouTube also for podcasts, but to watch, that they have found that some people who have lived long, they are vegetarians, or mainly vegetarians. Let's say they eat meat once or twice a week, but they're vegetarians. And
they're not. So
with a very I mean, they do exercise, probably not like you or me, but they do walk, they do bike. They mainly have vegetarian diets. Sometimes they eat fish. So it's like you say, it's not vegetarian, but
exactly
almost.
That's the point. Yeah, so if you look at the blue zones in the world, the blue zones are the zones where people live the longest. So somewhere in Japan and in the Mediterranean areas and so forth. Most of the time, the diet is quite rich in whole foods. It includes some meat sources, some fish sources, some alcohol as well.
Yeah.
That's just to highlight that living long is much more than just about diet itself. There's no hack in terms of just eat this way and live until you're 150,000 years old, right? It's a combination of different things, and usually it all comes down to a balance of things. So you have healthy diet, which doesn't get you overweight, and yes, you will include meat and fish dairy in those diets, depending on which blue zone you're looking at, right? So there are differences in that, depending on whether you're in the Mediterranean, for example, or in the in Japan, in parts of Japan, as an example. The determinant factors are, or there are so many more determining factors in terms of whether you will live longer or not. It's genetics, your lifestyle itself, the diet, which we just spoke about. One of the key aspects to that is the social circles you live in, right? The more meaningful social life you have, the higher probabilities there are that you will live longer at the same time as well, because that's one common denominator between all of these blue zones are the strength of the social circles. Where for example, I think I just read about this or heard this from somewhere, that in Japan, in the area where people live, beyond 100 years all the time, and there are these groups of people who live together, like groups of friends, and who live forever. So live together or be like this social bunch of friends from very early ages until they die. Basically, they take such good care of each other, and I think this was talking about a bunch of ladies, for example.
And also says that women live longer than men. But
yeah, there's something in.
But Jordan Peterson have an answer for that.
Yeah. So coming back to this, so this bunch of ladies basically were very old, like 80, 90 years old already. Still were going to, do their social banters every single day in a certain location, and they had done that for decades, like 50, 60 years or something. And if one of these ladies did not show up that day to that specific location, the other ones would go to that person's house to check that everything's okay. So there's something in the social connection which makes the human being's will to live so strong that transcends into the biology as well.
So you see, that's something that I want to live longer too. I mean, I if someone asked me, would you like to be immortal? I said, well, I don't know if immortal, but I would like to live 200 years to see like all the things that happen.
Well, right?
But then when it comes to that, it's like, yeah, it could be part of that. I think I've never heard about those things that. I mean, you need a meaningful life, but how the circles of, the close circle, that how does it impact in your life? But yeah, I think it makes sense as well. So now it comes to me that that's why I have to make meaningful friends if I want to live longer.
Meaningful social circles, meaningful family, circles as well. I don't know if there's any scientific distinction between social circles and family circles. It's one and the same. There might be, I don't know, but that is.
Well, it depends. If you think that family is just blood related, then I think family is not blood.
No,
blood related.
It isn't.
But some people do.
It's a sense of actually, the feeling of belonging into a greater circle, into a greater being, which is the group of people, which essentially makes up that whole social circle.
So that's family. No, come. You can say hi to Nico.
Hi. No, are you guys recording?
Yes, and we are on camera too. So you want to say, you have to come.
Oh, hi. That's okay. Enjoy yourselves.
Okay. So yeah, that's true. But some people still think that just family is blood, right?
Which to me is a bit narrow-minded. I used to believe that as well.
Well, for me, I can see it by I don't know if I can say by experience, because one of my sisters, I see her my sister. It's my sister. Has been my sister forever. But if I start putting thoughts about, she's.
So your sister, blood sister, no?
But she's from my same mother but different father. But she has been living in my same house. I mean, we shared half blood, but. When I think about my sister, I never think that she has another father, because my mom is divorced, and then she divorced also his father as well, her father. So, and I mean, those things just come to me in my head when it's okay. I put some beer, so you can just pour some wine for you. So something when I start remembering, it's like, you know, when my father called me, or then we meet with my other brothers from my other side, then they go, oh yeah, you know, my other sister, she has, or when my other sister, her father died, it was not my father, but it was her dad, but she was not very close to him, so she was a little bit sad.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Of course, and when he died, he was not my dad either, but he was living with us for a while, so there's no blood bond with him because he was not my father.
Yeah, sure.
But you know, he left there for a while. He wasn't like an annoying person. He was like a very grumpy person.
Okay, yeah.
So it was more negative than positive. But when he died, I felt like, oh. And he was not living with us for a long time. And when he died, I mean, I knew that he was very negative stuff for my mom as well. But when he died, you know, like, because I tried to be positive all the time, he died, and I was like, oh shit, you know, first my sister, how she felt. And then we went to the, you know, when he died, you do the wake, yeah. So they say, like, I do want to see the body, you know, like, no, I don't want to see the body, because for me, I want to remember him, whatever he was grumpy and stuff. I want to remember, you know, his face, like he was grumpy, but he was healthy.
Yeah.
And because I had many years without seeing him, and I remember my sister telling me, and I say, hey, how's your father? You know, he looks very old and very skinny now.
Yeah.
But I never saw it. But then I don't want to see the coffin with something.
Sure.
So even if I don't have like a lot of positive stuff from him, you know, there's this thing that he was not blood. But it's like, no, I want to remember the positive things about him.
That's great.
And I don't want to see like a degenerate body, because already.
Of course.
Right? So that's why I think, and my sister is the same. Like she's half blood, if you can call it. But so that's why I think like family is just not blood. You know, it's just. I don't know. I don't even know what is it.
Thank you for sharing this, Fernando, because I've grown up in a sort of not a broken family, because it never was a broken family. So my mom was 19 when she got me. My dad was 18, right? So
You're the only one?
Only
or
one.
You have more?
Only one. Well, only one from that.
Okay.
From my mom and from my dad. From my mom and from my dad, I'm the only one, right? Divorced when I was like 3 years old or something, because they were kids themselves, so young, you know, it's natural. So ever since I was like 4 or something, there's been, I've had a stepfather, which is like my mom's new. They're still together. They got married and stuff. My stepfather has, from his previous marriage, has a daughter, and she's 2 years older than me. And we've been very close. We don't even share half blood. We don't share any blood.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
She's my big sister, and I wouldn't consider her any way other than that, because we've been so close that it and I fully agree with you that it really doesn't matter if you're blood or not to feel like a family, right? And to that extent, you know, looking at this whole environment where I grew up in, which was that my mom, my stepfather, and my dad, and the extended family of grandfathers and my stepdad's parents and all, so it becomes this cluster of a larger family, and everybody getting along with each other and spending.
So everybody got along.
Yeah, getting along and spending, you know, Christmas and the big holidays in whatever they are in Finland, and weddings and funerals and whatever. It's like it was this beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
And even though I come from a sort of divorced family myself, that then allows me to believe that, well, it's not about marriages and stuff. It's about the relationships.
Yeah, it's something bigger than that. It's a circle of.
Yeah.
And you see, for me, it's similar, because my father, he married my mom, but he had 2 kids from a previous marriage. Then he was 2 kids with my mom.
Yeah.
Then divorced. He has 2 kids with his current wife.
Sure,
They have been for. So my family, we are 6 brothers, and there's another 2 brothers not blood related with anyone. That it was my father's first marriage. The woman that he married she had 2 kids from the previous marriage that she had, but those 2 kids, they were just coming with, it's complicated. This woman marriage, this woman husband that she married came with 2 kids, but they were not her kids.
Okay.
But when they divorced, she said like, no, the kids stay with me.
Okay.
So she kept the kids that they were not blood related to her. So those 2 brothers, that they're not my brothers, that I didn't grow up with them, I met them when I was older. Like, I see them in Facebook, and I call them brothers, and they're my brothers. They're my brothers.
Beautiful story.
And I was like, wow, and then we go to parties, and then like all my brothers and my sisters and my mom and the other wives. I mean, for a while, a long time ago, they said that there were some frictions, understandable.
Of course there is. Yeah.
But now that everybody get along and stuff, and I feel the same. I'm like, wow, we're such a good family. I talk with my brothers. We have a group chat with like all my brothers from the Gomez part.
Yeah.
So not my mother or my other sister, but the Gomez. They're all there, or the other 2 that they are not blood related. They are not in the chat, but all the Gomez we are there. We are from 3 different women.
Beautiful story. That's a beautiful
And it's pretty
story.
cool. But when I talk to new and people here, they say, "Oh man, that's so weird. Here, everybody hates each other." And I'm like, "Really? Yeah. Asian, they hate the ex-wives. They hate the." And it's like, "Oh," I said, "Don't hate, man. Like, hey,
Just
don't hate
love.
people."
Just love. And it's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing
it's
that.
Fun, right? It's like yours.
It just reminds me of the fact that regardless of what our backgrounds is, where we're from, from Costa Rica or Finland or Malaysia or China, wherever in this world, and whether we are somehow look a bit different than one another, we're still the same.
Yeah, you see.
We're still the same.
We are very
right?
different, like similar family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're half a way across the world from each other, originally from, but it's still like the stories are quite similar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like all these sad stories about racial tensions and stuff like that. It's just, and when you realize that we're all just very much the same.
And for me, like it's something like probably happens to you as well. I find it so ridiculous. Like I have black friends in Costa Rica. I know that they had a hard time. Of course, you can't erase that. All this slavery in U.S. and this is such a nonsense. It was there, but in Costa Rica we didn't have that. But okay, it comes because everybody knows the background. But I have black friends. They say they're black, and I call him black. Hey man, negro. Negro is black in Spanish, right? And a couple of them we call them negro, and it's not to make fun of this one. It's because he's one of the few black friends that we had, and because he's black, we call him black, and we call him negro. When we had some Americans coming one day visit some of my friends, we said, "Oh, we call him negro, man. Like, why you call him black?"
Because
he's black.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like if I show you this.
That's it, yeah.
This color. This is not African American color. This is black. And so for me, it's like, and that's why I might be biased, right? Because for me, it's like I don't see like Chinese, black, white, same, just color, right? Like
slightly different color,
this is size of beard, but this is beard.
Yeah.
I don't care. And same with family, same with stuff, and. But for us, it's so easy to see it. But like
I do. So
it doesn't go all around the world, I guess.
No, it doesn't, and there's a good reason for it, and
there's some cultural reasons.
The story you gave is great because it is only about the meanings that we put onto the words that we use. For example, negro, that word. However, there's obviously. A massive cultural connotation attached to the world, to that specific word, which relates to the ridiculous oppression of of certain people in specifically the States, and it's not just that; it happens everywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, there was quite famous.
And that oppression then attached to that single word. With that cultural pain and societal pain, then it becomes then you can sort of understand the why it is such a sacred word, if you may.
A big deal.
Yeah. Even though if you, so I just love your example because in your world it's normal. Nobody gets offended.
Yeah,
by using
at
that.
least in Costa Rica, I would not say the rest of the world, but
No,
Costa Rica is like
in your world,
hey,
right? Yeah.
negro. Is for me they call me macho. Macho is like it's like a blonde.
Yeah,
when you're blonde,
yeah.
they call macho. But I'm not blonde anymore. But I'm still like kind of.
Pay
So in Costa Rica, I get into a bus,
That's it, yeah.
and they, we are very familiar. So the bus driver say, "Hey, good morning, macho." Macho, okay.
It's
Macho.
just a type of
Hey,
person,
negro,
right?
how you doing? Hey, negro, move back, fast, go fast,
It's
fast,
like,
fast.
hi, thank you. It's like normal interaction. It's just we tend to have to attach so much meaning to words which are based on the cultural history of our own societies, right? Which in a different context does not mean anything.
Yeah,
Or
they're just words, right?
can mean something completely
Yeah,
opposite,
so true.
right?
Yeah.
So
And bad.
to me, if someone calls
Get
me
into problems, right?
to me, if someone calls me in Singapore, if someone says to me, "Hey, Angmo,"
Yeah.
well, I am an Angmo. I mean, I am whatever it's called, like a pale ghost or whatever. I don't know the
It's
exact translation.
It's a redhead. That's the literal
okay,
translation.
okay, sure.
Redhead.
So it's like that's who I am. I mean, if you look at me, I don't have a red head, but I understand where it comes from, and it's not. I don't take it as a derogative term.
But they said that before it used to be derogative. They say.
Because somebody attached a derogative.
Yeah. But as you say, it's just a word. Right?
It's just a word. Right? So,
But they say, when people come and say like, dude, like, let's go to, there's a coffee time here that I go to, sometimes say, hey, what do you do? I just went to this coffee shop and then I brought my friends, oh man, how do you know this place? Local Singaporeans, like, oh man, I come here, like, oh man, you're the most local Angmo I have ever met. I'm like,
it's actually a compliment, right?
yeah, and I said like, you see, there you go.
That's it.
And some of them they say, oh man, this Angmo I like. Sometimes they say,
Yeah.
this
And
Angmo I
they-
like.
and they-
I was
they
like,
do-
why?
they-
I said, because you come, you eat Chinese, you eat Malay, you like Singapore, you talk good things about the
Yeah.
place. And it's like, thank you.
There you go. And they don't use that as a derogative term.
Yeah, I sometimes I just react the same as you. Like, my name is Angmo. I am an Angmo. I'm white. That's it to say. This is what I am.
Obviously, it's.
I mean, they're being nice. If they're trying to be
Of course.
be mean, then you just have to react differently. But
And obviously there is a different angle to this, which is the fact that me and you, both of us, are white male from different countries and cultures, of course, but we are white males, so there is a large portion of this world who have been oppressed by white males very heavily, and there's a lot of historical weight and pressure onto other people with other types of skin colors, for example. So it probably is a bit easier for us to say this, and I do respect that heavily, of course. But I do. I mean, I resent all of that, resentment towards people from other cultures or from other skin colors or whatever that is, because essentially, and this by the way, which happens every day in Finland as well, racism is there.
so is racism big? Not big. It's like a big issue in.
Well, if you go to Helsinki, racism is not a big issue.
But like racism relate to black or to other races,
foreigners,
Chinese,
to people outside of your own cultural norm. Right?
So it's like a racist, or it's just like a very.
Well, if you look at racism per se as a context, this is just me thinking. It is something that comes from the human nature of being scared of something which is not familiar to your own circles. Whether that is because someone looks different, or someone thinks differently, or someone speaks a different language. At the end of the day, it has the same root, which is in the human fear of unknown or unfamiliar, right? So how I've seen this materialize in Finland at least is that, all right, well, Helsinki is a international metropole, city, and you have
So
a lot
the
of
big city.
the big city, the only big city in Finland, right?
Okay.
500,000 people, big city.
Oh,
But
so
anyway, so still the big city in Finland, and there you have a lot of immigrants, of course, and the acceptance is there because people are used to that there's a lot of foreigners and a lot of people from different backgrounds and with different skin colors as well. Even there's still some tensions going on, and it's always somehow below the surface, just slightly that racial tension, which, yeah, anyway. So if you go, further into Finland, into smaller towns where there's less and less of foreigners coming in, the deeper the divide will be, the more racial tensions and this racial type thinking or racism type thinking there will be.
Like they're more,
Yeah.
they feel it more.
Yeah. And how I've thought of this is that this is because of, and I like to think, this is just my hypothesis, this is the same thing everywhere. It's not just in Finland, you go anywhere in the world, it's probably going to be somewhat the same. Obviously, it might be a lot of differences as well. In any case, so because of the fact that these societies, so these villages and small towns somewhere in rural Finland, they never get exposed to these different cultures and these different people from different countries and different languages and different skin colors and this and that. The inbuilt fear within all of us towards anything which is different to where we live in
It gets bigger.
and when you don't expose yourself to different nuances in life and speak to different people, learn to know them and learn to love everybody around you, that's somehow unfortunately a natural response as well. I'm not trying to protect anybody, but that's how it is,
Exactly. There's something that I say, like for example, knowing many people, like mainly women that are with me, they see it in a negative way. And when I say that, I don't mean it like that we have to be like liberty for everybody. I say like if people had more love, and of course it's a sexual connotation, if people had more sex,
yeah,
this would be a better place.
Absolutely.
I really believe it.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, put it this way. They say me, I'm with like with a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend. And they say that things were fine, and they said that then we start having some things that probably don't get along or something, and let's say by any reason, I don't know what happened, that they say you find the woman finds someone on the other side that she can get some love, and then the guy, let's say he can do it. Sometimes, he has seen that when these people find like, a relationship outside their relationship, sometimes they start even to behave a little bit better. They're a little bit more, hey, how you need this and need that. And it's not all the time, but they say that they have found this because this person find another, let's say this girl find another guy that treat her well, and give her some love physically and emotionally. Then the woman, she feels it better. Then she wants to, in his real relationship, she feels better. Don't say she comes things easier. And the same with the guy. And people say, oh, is that correct? I say the correct way we say that these two persons talk to each other and say that they have another person.
Yeah, that's the correct way.
That's the correct way. They have no choice. And if they accept it, everyone will be happy. If they don't accept it, then they have to figure it out in probably different ways, right?
No,
they say that everyone should have like, man, if you know someone, you like the guy, if she's nice, you like the guy or the girl.
Yeah.
And if you meet a girl or a guy that he's not so nice, man, you don't have to waste your energy hating that person. You just probably get away, and if that person is happy doing something else, be happy for the person that you don't like.
Absolutely.
Is that person being happy that he doesn't mess with me, or she doesn't mess with me, but he's happy doing whatever, even if I don't like him or like her, but she's happy, he's happy, I'm happy.
That's
it. I don't care.
That is a beautiful concept of something which I've figured out this year very heavily. It's called unconditional love. Not everybody believes in this, and I do understand the reasons why not, but you pointed it out so beautifully that if we get out of our own ego, and which is, by the way, really fucking hard, just following your example in terms of, okay, well, if your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife wants to have sex with another person, then how you would feel about it, because that would be the best thing for them. So will you be happy for them to feel happy with that other person?
Oh, you
enjoying
can't,
that?
because it's your ego, right?
But essentially, if you really feel unconditional love, then that's exactly it. Then that's like, well, I'm happy for you. What do you think? Because it's like, this is an interesting, the whole concept of monogamy and relationships is another rabbit hole we can get into. It's an interesting discussion, but it relates to everything in life. It relates to the context of racism. It relates to well-being of people, social relationships, everything as well. And I've just come to believe that the more openly you're able to love everything around you, other people, your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, other people, whoever stranger you meet on the street, just the first instance is unconditional love, rather than being protective towards yourself or being in the attack mode towards something different than what you are. Will make the world and relationships and better, social circles so much better.
Yeah, but then it comes, and people ask me, what is love? Okay, I can't say what is love, but for me, love is not that this woman is with me, she has to be with me. If she doesn't want to be with me and she go away, she's a bitch. Yeah. I mean, even if they say, okay, you go, and I will hate her forever. Yeah. That's not love. I think, and I had this discussion with one of my colleagues from the office. He's from Malaysia, he's Malay. And he told me that his wife came one day. He said, hey, if one day I die, will you miss me? And he was like, yes. And he said, like, will you, I don't know what was the question there. Will you be with someone else? And he was like, yeah, probably. And she was like, why? And he was like, what do you mean why? You're asking me. I'm not telling you. So then they had the conversation. They said that she felt bad that if she died, then he find someone else. Then she was like, no, that means that you don't love me. And he was like, okay, first of all, you asked me a question. So if you want an answer, that's a different stuff. And then, so what is your point with this? So I came like, I told you, I said, no, if one day, like, they say you don't feel happy with me, and then you want to go away alone or with another person, girl or guy, whatever. And if that's the best thing for you and you feel it, probably, I'll be heartbroken, probably I will not be super happy, but with time, in my head, I think that, oh, that's the best for you. Yeah. And because I love you, go ahead. That doesn't mean that you don't want to feel it. Probably you will feel lonely, right? Because probably you have plans and stuff and then all crumble down, right? But, well, she wants to go, then you'll be like, oh, well, if that makes her happy, then I guess I should be happy for her, right? But that doesn't mean that you will be sad also. Yeah. You will be sad, heartbroken, and what did I did wrong, because why, whatever. It doesn't matter those things. But that's only like if you say, you're talking about unconditional love, right? And I think that's love. If you love someone, you want that person to
be happy,
fulfill their best, right? If the best for them is to be alone or with someone else, or with a guy, or with a girl, or having orgies every day,
do that.
Forget about it. That's you, and probably that's not your. Then just leave it. Let it be, right? I think that's love. And people say, no, how can you say it? And they say like, well, that's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. It's not about me, and it's going to hurt. I have been heartbroken because a girl left, but then at the end, like today's 6th of July. 4th of July is an ex-girlfriend that I had a long time ago. Her birthday is 4th of July. We always talk. She has her own family now and stuff. I mean, we don't have anything like
sure.
like let's say like relation. We have a relationship as friends, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I don't have. I mean, I have my girlfriend. I'm happy, everything. But I call her, I say, happy birthday, have fun and stuff. And for me, when she broke with me, I said, like, oh, I felt bad and stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, that's what she wants. She's older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, probably that's what she wants. And then, like, after some months, I said, oh, that's what she wants. I think she's happy. I'm happy now. And then that was, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And I still feel like, oh man, she's happy. And I really feel like a lot of good things with her. Like I always wish her the best, right? And sometimes she calls me for my birthday or she texts me. She doesn't call me.
That is beautiful.
She just texts me, happy birthday. That's it. Nothing more, no much interaction. How are you doing? Doing good? Good. And I feel like, oh, she's happy. She got married. She had kids. She's good with the family. I'm like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad. And people say like, but she was your girlfriend. You love her for a while. Like, yeah, but
what the fuck does that have to do with this? Absolutely. Yeah. She's happy, you're happy, everybody. I mean, it's like it turned out to be the best for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because with time, you know.
Yeah, and because the world is full of opportunities. There is always good opportunities for everybody. You, your ex-girlfriend, so there's the abundance
and
out
now
there.
I'm with Nu, I'm happy.
Yes, yeah.
I have Nico as a friend, you know, then I'm happy. And I'm not with her. That back then, you know, it was.
Of course, it feels earth-shatteringly bad when you lose someone you love very badly, right? It feels like you are being. I mean, there's been like rose thorns being dragged out of your stomach and your bowels very slowly for months.
You're not going
and
to
months,
die with that, right?
Yeah.
So,
but at the end of the day, something's knocking in behind your head saying, it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. And when you then realize that, hey, all of this happened for a good reason. And
you just have to see it, right?
And when you then realize that whatever happens, you love the other person unconditionally, whether she stays or he or she stays in the relationship or not, it's good for them. And whatever happens in the future, then you have all the opportunities to meet all the new people in this world, exciting people, fall in love again and again and again, whatever it is, you know. It's like you can turn everything into its true meaning, which to me, this is not for everyone, which to me is that there is something really positive and educating everything in life that happens, especially in relationships and love.
Yeah, that's the problem with relationships, because I think people see it in a very selfish way, you know.
I do.
Like I remember one day I even was
you probably did it
to my friend. Yeah, of course, many years ago. But then I remember I was listening to this Mexican guy that he has like a podcast, and then I started thinking about it, and then he said something about friends. I said like, I have a friend that I know him since I was 4 years old. We became friends. Oh, we were playing all the time in the sandbox, Lego, or whatever. I made other friends, but he was still my friend. I was playing him, having lunch. Then we become older. We were in the same high school. Yeah. He was still my friends. Then I went to university. I had other friends. I made other friends. I went to different places we didn't meet all the time. Did he get jealous? Not really. Did he start like treating me well? Weird because I have new friends. Different friends. I was like, not really. Okay, I mean, this is a very, very extreme example. Then that's what this guy said. This Mexican guy said, like, if you treat your wife, your girlfriend, your partner in life, if you treat each other as friends, things will be better. Because when you have a friend, I have Nico, my friend, and they say you're friends with John. Do I have jealous of John because he's your friend? No. So why, if
Good point.
If
I
Lou
understand
has
that,
a guy friend, I mean, of course, if they start touching each other and kissing, then you will see something on. But if you see friend and chatting or texting, you're like, okay, and then you feel threatened. Hey, no, who's that guy? Oh, he's a friend that we met. And he's a friend of mine. Oh, he's a friend? Well, all right. What can you do? You just trust, right?
Absolutely.
He's your friend. You don't see them touching or kissing. Then
And
then I said like, okay, you see, then they're friends. You don't get jealous because John and he. I don't jealous. Like Nico, what are you talking to John? What the fuck, man? No, right? And now like, oh, it really makes a lot of sense. It might not be super easy, but I think that's the theory, right? So that's what I have been thinking for a while, a long time, and that's how I try to live. And of course, I have a lot of different ideas coming towards me that it's not okay, but well.
Who says it's not okay?
Yeah, many people.
Well, but if it, I mean, this is something that I've learned so sincerely just recently. So I've listened to a lot of podcasts over the years, and in the last 3-4 months, I've bumbled into Aubrey Marcus and Lewis Howes, and especially Aubrey Marcus podcast. So he's the owner of Onnit, this supplement company. He seems to be a brilliant character.
And where is this podcast? Where do you listen, in iTunes?
iTunes, yeah. So in his quests, he's about our age as well. In his quests into himself in terms of spirituality, love, relationships, fitness, everything, he takes it into another level. So he's gone as far as going into an open relationship for 5 years now or something, where he explores his own reactions of how he reacts into his fiance going on a date with another lover, because that's how
that's how it works.
So he's gone to such an extreme that his long-term partner he's been with for 7 years or something. Sure, thanks. And then he describes how painful it is when that happens, but at the same time he sort of understands that how beautiful it is when it actually works. He doesn't deny how fucking hard it is to go through that emotional pain of seeing that some other guy basically fucking his girlfriend.
But what is your pain? What is this pain coming from?
I'm coming into that because that's exactly my same question. So then one of the very interesting bits which I saw from Aubrey as well is that he posted an Instagram post where he's working out with the lover of his fiance, and he's like cuddling without shirts,
like
and
brotherly.
Yeah, like in a brotherly way, which is such from an emotional level. I mean, that is such an amazing achievement, and to find yourself in a position where you can unconditionally love a person who has sex with your fiance, right? It becomes such a because from a normal cultural context, which the
cultural
Western,
and society,
societal context,
it's different.
That's outside of any of the accepted norms.
Mm-hmm.
But when you feel that, it must feel quite friggin' exhilarating. I'm not saying that I'm a proponent of open relationship or anything, but whatever fits your view of the world, that's fine. It's just intriguing to see how you can challenge yourself and your current view of the world, right? That brings us into the question which you asked, is that where does all of this jealousy and this protectiveness come from? Because it is somehow, it replicates itself everywhere in the world. So it is inbuilt into
almost everywhere.
Almost. Not everywhere. Not so. Some tribes in some Amazonian jungles, or something, they have like
somewhere in Alaska, and some weird places around here.
So there, it's normal to have, multiple fathers to a child, or in some tribes you have, or in some historical stories, it's been normal to have one female to have multiple fathers to a child. It's normal in that society, so that one father can claim that I've been part of making that child's arm, for example, and it's like
so they don't know who is it, but all of them they take care of.
Yeah, all of them take care of and love this lady and the child as well, unconditionally.
Yeah.
So where does the jealousy and the sort of ownership type mentality come from? It is somehow so ingrained into our style of thinking, or not even thinking. It's ingrained into our amygdala somehow, which is the lower level of thinking, right? So it comes from somewhere so deep inside because the feeling is so radically strong, right? I've felt it. I'm sure you felt it as well. It's like it drains you. It sort of slams you down like the worst pain ever when you really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you sort of realize that there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
This is just normal, and the world is full of abundance of other people that you can go and meet and have or start new friendships or fall in love or have sex or have a relationship, have marriage, have kids, divorce, have not have. It's like there's nothing bad in it. It's just life, right?
But it's still too. It's too extreme for a lot of people, right? I mean, for me, I would see it as. I mean, now, like I said, now if they do come and say like, oh, this is my older boyfriend.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't know if I would like it. That doesn't mean that I will accept it. But the possibility, you can't close this door. I mean, I think that you can't close this. Like, do you know Dan Bilzerian? You know who's Dan Bilzerian, right? Of course, this guy has all this very weird life, right? Like gambler making money. His family left him some money. He has a big circle of millionaires. That's why he started.
Yeah.
Okay, he made his money by his own with betting, but he was betting with family friends that they have a lot of money. So okay, whatever. He made his own money. It's fine. And then if you follow his brand Ignite, his marketing, so it's always a lot of girls, right? And in some interviews, he was talking that he asked him, so do you have a girlfriend? He said, oh, last time I had a girlfriend was like 4 years ago. I don't have a girlfriend anymore. Okay. But what about these girls? Oh, these girls, do you pay? Are they like hookers or how do you call these
escorts?
Escort? Yeah. And said like, no, I don't. I mean, he said I don't pay them, but of course if I find the girls and people say, hey, bring these girls or whatever, and they want to come with me for this Ignite stuff. And of course, I pay for the plane, I pay for the food, I pay for the hotels, I pay for everything. But I'm not paying anything, right? And they say, well, do you think you're making advantage of them? I said, like, no, I don't make them do anything.
It's their choice.
They just come and they say, like, do you think they make advantage of you? And they're like, well, I don't know if they take advantage of me, but for them, because I have a brand, I mean, I don't know if he's smart, but he sounds smart. He said they also take advantage of their growing their Instagram stuff because they are
wins, right?
Dan Bilzerian, and they say, yeah, one day they had like sex with 18 different girls in one day. After the girl 9, it was just like one drop coming out.
Yeah.
But I was so fun. And then he was talking. Then people say he said like, so no. The guy asked him what do you think this is a normal lifestyle? Like everybody, some people dream with this and stuff, and some people think, like girls, oh no, my boyfriend, I would not love to do that. I would hate my boyfriend doing it. And they say like, well, if majority of men, they were more sincere about who they really are, you will be amazed how people will treat you back. It's like these girls. I'm not offering anything to them. They come and have sex with me. Oh, but do you think they have sex with you because of the money? You're like, yeah, probably. But I'm not offering to have a life with them. With some of them that they're like more usual. We even have a contract, like a work contract.
Yeah.
With my brand Ignite. So, and we are open. They know that my business is Ignite. I love my cat because he has a cat. And that's the only thing that I care for now. And I'm like, wow. But the guy said like, what he says, like, if people were more honest about what they really are and they want, you could see how people will react back to you. I mean, and he's not like that's not like a grounding statement, right? But he said that's what he do. He's like, that's why I don't have a girlfriend, because if I have a girlfriend and she doesn't like it, then no girlfriend. That's it.
This is a great example. Again, coming back to two of the other topics we spoke about, which is political correctness and radical transparency.
Yeah.
How lack of that destroys a lot of things in life. So I do agree with that statement, which Dan and yourself shared here. So. Yeah.
And a lot of people see him like, oh, he's the devil, what he's doing, because his
he
business is marijuana and he's using the women. And I was like, I think I have smoked marijuana, but I'm not really a fan of drugs. I mean, alcohol is a drug, but I have smoked marijuana, and it was fun. I would not say it's done. But then after all my experiences and things that I have read and me just thinking about it, I've seen that there's more positive things coming out of marijuana for some people that alcohol to the majority of the people.
And smoking cigarette, for example.
Yeah, well. So I said like, well, marijuana, the thing's illegal. There's a lot of reasons why marijuana is not legal. Yeah. Whatever is political, whatever. Yeah. But I think even for some people, marijuana will even help them to be better, right? I'm not saying that they will make better because it will just help them. Yes. They will make it focus. They will make it less anxious, or like people who has Parkinson.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I don't know if you have read like these people who have like really Parkinson. They can't even drink. They gave like this a drop of this CBD, and he takes, and it's like this. I mean, it's like this. But he can drink. He can even talk. 20 minutes later, after he gets 2 drops of CBD, whatever, but he could barely walk. I saw the video. I mean, people say, oh, the video is way fake. Like, why everything should have to be fake? The guy can walk, the guy can talk, the guy can... And I say, you see, positive stuff, right? But people say, no, that bullshit. Alcohol, marijuana, women
and weed.
And I said, I think you're just jealous because he has a good life. He's a millionaire, he has a lot of girls, and he have business.
It's all about perception.
For me, I would like to have the money that he has. Yeah, why not? Do I have to have the life that he has? I'm not sure, right? How do you know that you've been there, you'll be happy?
No, because it's his life.
You don't know.
It is his way of building his, or getting his fulfillment in life, right? So to you and to me, it will be completely different.
Yeah,
whatever it is, right? So.
But I think
you can't judge.
I think he's cool. I think do it. He's cool. I don't hate him. He can do whatever he wants, and.
I agree. So the end connotation is try to love, but let's just try to love a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. More love, more care about the other people. That's why I wanted to start all these companies about. I mean, I have a lot of ideas. We can talk probably in the next podcast about it. But for example, like. This question for you, another one. You like cars?
Yeah.
You don't have a car here, right?
No.
Do you used to have a car in Finland?
No. So I used to have, and I love cars for sure, but just living in Singapore has sort of made me forget about them.
So if you have a car, which is the car that you like?
I would, if I could.
I mean, it doesn't need to be like a sports car, but like a car that you like. This is cool.
If I could buy a car now, or if I
it doesn't matter if it's expensive, even if it's a Porsche.
If I were to buy a car now, it would be a Tesla.
A Tesla. You see, that was my question. Will you pick, like say, a Mercedes C55 AMG or a Tesla, right? And when you say just Tesla, you don't even have to ask. So that's part of my idea. Like I want to. Tesla is kind of part of the idea that I want to explain, because the idea of Tesla is electric. It doesn't. It's supposed to. The pollution is less. because it has an impact. Because you have to take lithium, and to take lithium you need mines. But you have to go. You can go very back, and you will find the impact. But then you will see, like, what would you like to have, a Tesla or a Mercedes-Benz? And then it's the same for me. Why I'd like to have less plastic or more plastic? Why would I like to have more waste or less waste? Like, for example, I go to a hawker center, and the guys, the uncles who clean, they have this trolley that they put all the plates, and they have another bucket that they throw all the leftovers food. And I've been checking, and it's a lot. It's huge.
Yeah.
Then with my partner, with this business that we have for eco-friendly plastic that is not plastic. I mean, it's plastic, but it's not made of oil. We made this market study about a lot of things happening with plastic and stuff, and then we find out also about how Singapore managed the waste.
Yeah.
And one of the big waste of the plastic, because plastic consumption is bigger than Argentina.
Yeah.
In Argentina is footprint is how much is big, right? It's huge. But another problem that I see is the food waste. And they waste so much food. They have they ordered a bowl of noodles, they drink the soup or they eat the noodles, and they have a lot of also waste and a lot of rice. And I was thinking, what can I do with this? And I thought a lot of ideas. You can, and I was talking with a guy that if I can pick all this waste that at the end it goes to the trash, it goes to the incinerators and disappear, right? So I was thinking, what can you do? And then this guy that he has some farm stuff, he told me, Fernando, you told me, you talk about this thing. I heard this guy that he collects, food waste. And then he has this fly, that the fly put a warm egg in this maggot. They eat the organic material. And this maggot, when they become a certain age, or after they get whatever the bigger size, they're full protein. So what they sell these maggots, they sell it to cattle, to cattle farms, to whatever farms, or even to companies who need to make protein,
it's
whatever,
recycling.
synthesized. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, man, this is something that I have to do. So that's when it comes to my idea that Tesla comes. That's why I have this, this electric skateboard. And because, you don't need an electric skateboard, you can kick, right? But of course,
the modern day.
Yeah, it's faster. You don't get all sweaty to the office. So that's why I'm pro Tesla and then pro consuming less things that we need and like love more people. So that's why I have this rethink stuff. It's part of all these ideas. But different than you, I haven't found the way to really make it concrete.
Yeah, and you know what the beautiful part is though. There's no rush for you to find it. That idea will come to you. Well,
kind of. Because if I just lie on my sofa and say, oh man, things will just come to me. It's not going to work, right?
So that's a good point. So there comes what we discussed in the beginning of this, is that you need to go and meet new people. Because usually you get those connecting dots from other people, the small little hints from the discussions you have with intelligent and enthusiastic people, is you get those, small strings of cable that will actually drag you, and then you connect the dots, and suddenly the idea comes to you. So